Table of contents. Table of contents, uncontrollable. The thing in his head had appeared out of the blue, and it was a natural sensation. True chi exhausted. A powerful idea was released. At this moment, that kind of powerful beast, taming power exploded within this group of idea. Buzz. A muffled sound was heard in the silver warbear's mind. Control. Long Fei immediately followed up with a shout, the powerful beast, taming power exploding inside the bear's brain. And in that moment, the ideas, whose bodies were in full control of the warbear's body, were all under Long Fei's control. In that instant, the body of the warbear suddenly came to a quick halt and came to a stop. Under the high-speed impact, he suddenly stopped. Even with Lin Kai's cultivation, he was unable to react in time and was directly sent flying. Bam! He heavily smashed onto the ground, his mouth full of mud from the fall of the sun and earth. His face was full of bloodstains from the friction with the rocks, and he was in an extremely sorry state. His eyes were filled with extreme shock. Why did his war beast suddenly stop without his order? This war beast was captured by him personally and tamed by him himself. In the past, he would never dare to have the slightest bit of dirty thoughts towards him, much less make such a move, because it knew what the consequences would be. Damn beast! Lin Kai crawled up from the ground. His entire body was covered in dirt, looking extremely pathetic. He stared at Silver Warbear and shouted in a deep voice, "Come over here!" Silver Warbear did not move. Earong felt that it was strange. Thin Monkey, Big Owl, and the others were also dumbfounded. What's going on? What's the situation? What happened to that warbear? A traitor? A traitor. A traitor, a traitor, a traitor, a traitor. Impossible, right? I heard that the Zhou's army team is very adept at taming demon beasts, and the probability of taming beasts betraying each other is very small. Could it be that the beast tamed? No matter what method one used to capture it, it was possible for the tamed war beast to betray it. Unless its loyalty level was 100%, it was possible. However, the Zhou family had a powerful beast master, and the demon beast he tamed had very few mutiny, so he thoroughly tamed these kind of high-level beasts. However, what happened just now made everyone puzzled. The war bear acted as if he did not hear Lin Kai's orders. Lin Kai shouted angrily, "You beast, do you want to die? I called you over." The war bear remained motionless. "Are you deaf? Come here," Lin Kai roared. Zhang Xiong slightly raised his eyes and finally moved. However, it did not walk towards Lin Kai, but towards Long Fei instead. Lin Kai stared blankly for a moment, then laughed. "Right, go, and tear him into pieces. Ha ha, trash. My war beast will immediately tear you to shreds." Although Long Fei did not know why beast mastery suddenly appeared in his mind, and the beast mastery in his mind was just like the one he had in the alchemy technique, extremely special and powerful. It was completely different from the beast mastery in this world, as it completely dominated this world. Long Fei really didn't understand. However, he was certain that the battle bear in front of him had already been subdued by him. Moreover, the loyalty level was 100%, because Long Fei completely saw through the silver warbear's attributes. In other words, this warbear was already his war pet. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Your beast?" Just then, the warbear walked over to Long Fei's side. Lin Kai said excitedly, "Haha, bite him to death. Bite him to death." Eorong's heart was about to burst out his throat. At this distance, the level 5 beast could bite Long Fei's head off with one bite. The big bloke and Thin Monkey gulped, not even daring to breathe. The aura of the Transformers spread out, and the pressure of a powerful level 9 demon beast attacked. Just as everyone was worried for Long Fei, that huge bear suddenly sat down beside Long Fei, using its tame white fur to support Long Fei's hands. He was like a husky trying to please his master. Everyone was stunned. Stunned. What's going on? Thin Monkey rubbed his eyes, not daring to believe what he had just seen. The demon beast betrayal truly existed. However, would a rebellious demon beast instantly turn into another person's beast? Impossible. but she had become Long Fei's beast now. Lin Kai muttered, "Impossible, this is impossible. The demon beast that my Lin family has subdued definitely will not become someone else's beast." "Ah, bastard, what did you do? Bastard, bite him to death." Lin Kai was going crazy. At the same time, the two blades in his hands moved, and he shouted with a deep voice, "I will kill you." Long Fei's mouth curved upwards, gently stroking Silver Warbear. Suddenly, the Silver Warbear was enraged. The silver armor on its body started emitting cold light. Without waiting for Lin Kai to rush forward, it started to attack immediately. It suddenly pounced. In a superior position, dozens of tons of bodies heavily smashed down, directly pressing down on Lin Kai's body. Next, the bear's paw moved, revealing a sharp claw. Crash! His chest was torn to shreds. His internal organs were all brought out. The gash on top of Lin Kai's head opened its mouth wide as it glared at him in fury and muttered, You, this animal." Not waiting for him to finish, Silver Warbear once again struck down with his palm. Lin Kai's head immediately flew out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lin Kai, for obtaining 120,000 experience, 10,000 true chi points, 5 arrogant god energy value. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining military pills, 10 of them. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. System beep S sounded, and a few pieces of trash dropped. To Long Fei, this was a piece of trash. His body was torn apart, and his head swatted away. The state of his death was appalling. Everyone looked at Long Fei. When the Silver Warbear returned, his previous rage instantly turned into a docile pet bear. It walked to Long Fei's side and sat down, as if nothing had happened. It was incomparably docile. Too fierce. Yirong looked at Long Fei. Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei. Thin Monkey, the big-sized man, and Transformers all looked at Long Fei without moving, as if they were staring at a monster. Long Fei revealed a cold expression and said, "What? You must have never seen such a handsome man." Yirong said in shock, "How did you do that?" Xiao Dai said excitedly, "Along, do you know Beast Mastery? When did you learn it?" "Boss, you're too awesome. You're simply my idol." "Ha ha!" Shock. He was extremely shocked. In a flash, the outbreak of the Beast Mastery instantly subdued another person's beast. This was something that had never happened before in the history of the Zhenwu continent. However, Long Fei completed it in an instant. Looking at their excited expressions, Long Fei muttered in his heart, "I can say, do I not know myself? F***CK. How many secrets does my body have?" Chapter 2362, Final Impact. Chapter 2362, Final Impact. The appearance of all sorts of strange things made Long Fei suspect more and more himself. For some reason, he couldn't recall what he had experienced before. A powerful alchemy technique. Strange dream. Now he had appeared out of nowhere and was incredibly powerful, possessing a power very similar to the alchemy technique. Adding the Sky Sword S. All of these made Long Fei suspicious. But no matter how suspicious he was, it was useless for him to recall anything that had happened before. This made him very vexed. Wow, this war beast is too handsome. The big guy swallowed his saliva, his eyes almost popping out when he looked at the Silver Warbear. Long Fei looked at the big-sized man and said, "You like this warbear?" The big bloke immediately nodded his head, then continued to shake it. How can anyone not like a 5th-level warbeast? However, this was a beast subdued by Long Fei using his beast mastery, and it was Long Fei's beast. No matter how much he wanted it, he would not take it. Long Fei laughed and said, "When we return to Xinyu's sect, this warbear will be yours." The big bloke was stunned. Yirong looked at Long Fei and said in his heart, "A level 5 warbeast can't even be bought with 100,000 spirit stones, yet he just gave it away like that without even blinking his eyes. Doesn't that make his heart ache?" Battle beasts of the 5th rank were simply too rare. Furthermore, Long Fei didn't have his own beast, so Transformers wasn't his beast. Then again, The potential of this silver warbear had yet to be realized, and once it was fully exploited, its power would increase. Giving it away just like that? Isn't this too generous? Actually, in Long Fei's eyes, a level 5 beast was not even worth the big guy's status as a brother. Every time he looked at the big guy, Long Fei would always have the image of a big bald man carrying a coffin on his back, looking very domineering and silly. All right, if we see that guy in a few minutes, the War Beast Regiment will probably launch its strongest attack. And Long Fei looked at the entrance of the secret world and frowned. If I can fly in, then my blocking tactics will be useless. This was a tactical weakness. This was, after all, the real world, and not a game that Long Fei had played in his previous life. Yurong regained his composure and said, "If everyone flies in here, we'll be surrounded in an instant." At that time, the thin monkey said, "We can indeed fly in, but the people outside do not know that as long as they charge in one by one, it would be as bosses said." Xiao Dai said, "We need to prepare as well." The corner of Long Fei's eyes involuntarily turned towards the stone door that was not far away. Yurong's eyes grew tight and said, "Do you still want to open the stone door?" Long Fei knew that he had misunderstood her meaning. He did not want to explain himself, so he retracted his gaze and said, "This will be the first time you block the position, big sister Xiao Dai. Step back and let the silver warbear block it. In addition, I have a task for you." Xiao Dai took a step back as he moved his idea. Silver Warbear immediately took his place. With his 5th level war beast blocking their path, they were even more powerful. Xiao Dai walked over to Long Fei's side and asked, "Along, what kind of mission do you have?" Long Fei brought Xiao Dai to the side and whispered a few words into her ear. Then he placed an ancient item in Xiao Dai's hand. Xiao Dai frowned. He was a little worried. Long Fei said in a low voice, "Sis, as long as you do as I say, don't worry about anything else. Remember, we have to use it when we can't hold on, okay?" Xiao Dai nodded heavily and said, "All right." Long Fei walked back and gave each of them 30 pellets, saying, "Don't give me any money to save. If you're injured, take it immediately. Understand? Don't be so reluctant to part with it. No matter how important the pill is, it isn't as important as your life." 30 pills. Moreover, the lowest level was a tier 8 pill. Any one of these pills was a treasure in the outside world, but they were like sugar beans now. The big-sized man and the thin monkey were always reluctant to eat it. It was too precious. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Outside of the secret world, rumbling sounds could be heard as Long Fei took out his sky sword. With a heavy voice, he said, "They're here. This is the final attack. Over 1,000 beast warriors will come one after another. You don't need to worry about the war beast warrior that flew in. You just block your seats and leave the rest to me." "Understood," the big-sized man and thin monkey shouted at the same time. Yurong looked at Long Fei and said faintly, "If I die, please." Without waiting for her to finish speaking, Long Fei immediately interrupted her and said, "Don't worry. With me here, you won't die. I won't let my woman, Long Fei, die." After he finished speaking, Long Fei smiled faintly. Boom! With a boom, a war beast rushed towards Secret World. Roar! Transformers suddenly stood up, hugged his fists, and punched down. Crack! His body turned into a pile of mincemeat, and he was killed instantly. In less than a second, another war beast rushed in. Boom! Another instant kill. A few war beasts rushed into the secret world consecutively, but they were all killed instantly by the Transformers. However, what was worth noting was that these war beasts did not have warrior on them. Light beasts rushed in. Outside the secret world, more than 10 of the war beasts frowned and said anxiously, "General, there is something strange inside. Our war beasts will die as soon as they enter." They had some sort of relationship with their war beasts. There was only one possibility for losing this connection. The war beast was dead. He died instantly. Then inside, the old man on top of the level 6 striped one-eyed tiger locked his eyebrows. The fire beast team has probably been annihilated as well. How much power can a mere young sect master of a mere Xian Yu sect possess? Or could it be that there is a strong monster in this secret world? No way. My war beast regiment has never lost before. The elder's eyes grew sinister as his sixth-level war beast let out a roar. The elder waved the small yellow flag in his hand and said, "Everyone charge." In that instant, the battle drum sounded out. The war beast roared. One after another, beasts started to rush into the secret world. There is no place that my war beast regiment cannot destroy. The elder's eyes flashed with a cold gleam. One of the strategists beside him said, "General, could young Master Lin Kai be?" The old man's eyes narrowed even more. And then he clamped his legs together. "Hey, Arg!" The striped one-eyed tiger let out a king's roar and rushed out. In that moment, a pair of flesh wings suddenly extended from its back, following the war beast regiment's head as it flew towards the secret world's entrance. Injured members of my Lin family, no matter who you are, you must die today. In the secret world, Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief in his heart as he stared at the sky above the secret world's entrance. He had a hang in the air. Suddenly, the air above the secret world's entrance distorted. Long Fei shouted, "Come in." Chapter 2363, Death Battle. Chapter 2363, Death Battle. Before he could finish, a winged striped tiger whistled over. Eorong immediately said, "Rank 6 War Beast. One-Eyed Tiger, General of the War Beast Regiment, Lin Tianshou." The old man on the back was one of the 8 great generals under Zhou Yaozong's command, Lin Tianshou. They were also the strongest army. Lin Tianshou looked at the warrior that was piled full with him, blood flowing like a small stream. The scene was extremely bloody and cruel. Then he saw the 2 demon beasts blocking the entrance of the secret world. If one came in, one would die. If one came in, he would die. Lin Tianshou's gaze tightened and landed heavily. He stared straight at Eorong and said, "You used this method to kill over 100 of my war beast regiment's disciples?" Eorong did not speak. Long Fei grinned and said, "What? Do you think that your war beast regiment disciples are very strong? In my opinion, they're just trash." Lin Tianshou's eyes turned cold. He stared straight at Long Fei and asked, "Who are you?" The idea moved. Long Fei's cultivation appeared in his senses. A 6th-grade refining chi trash doesn't even have the qualifications to talk to me. Then, Lin Tianshou looked at Eorong again and said, "You have destroyed hundreds of my war beast regiment disciples. Today, forget about you being the crown prince's consort. Even if Zhao Wuji was here, I would still want your life." The striped one-eyed tiger beneath him roared. With a flap of its wings, sand and dirt filled the sky and frantically attacked Eorong. Long Fei said, "Ha, old fellow, your war beast regiment disciples all died in my hands." "Humph, who do you think you are?" Lin Tianshou did not even look at Long Fei. A level 6 refinement stage disciple was not even able to handle the weakest disciple in the war beast regiment. You still want to kill 100 of his warriors? Impossible. Lin Tianshou's gaze locked onto Eorong, holding onto the long and thin whip in his hand. The whip had a glimmer of light. With a single glance, he could tell that it was not of ordinary quality. "Pa!" The magic strap lashed out and a crack appeared on the ground. The level 6 one-eyed tiger roared and rushed forward explosively. The magic strap in Lin Tianshou's hands blurred as it brought the powerful true chi to attack Eorong. Eorong did not just sit there and wait for death. The Xianyu underworld wheel in his hand merged into a sword. With a heavy stomp, he flew into the air and attacked. His cultivation level was no longer as good as Lin Tianshou's. Furthermore, Lin Tianshou also had a level 6 beast, so he was definitely not his match. Lin Tianshou revealed a proud and cold smile. "You're courting death." Just as the 2 skills were about to collide, Long Fei scratched his head and said arrogantly, "Hey, what do I have to say to convince you that your people died in my hands?" The beast mastery in his mind stirred once again. Long Fei's idea rushed straight into the sea of consciousness of the level 6 one-eyed tiger. Its powerful strength was like a thunderbolt as it roared. Control. Buzz. A buzzing sound rang in the one-eyed tiger's head. His body suddenly stopped. Suddenly, there was a drastic change. Lin Tianxiu was caught off guard, but still, his cultivation was after all much higher than Lin Kai's, so his reaction speed was extremely quick. When he suddenly could not sense the will of the one-eyed tiger, he rolled over, and a magic strap in his hand twitched. Bastard, what are you trying to do? You want to rebel? When the magic strap lashed out, the skin and flesh of the beast split open, and fresh blood began to gush out. The one-eyed tiger also let out a roar. Yurong looked at Long Fei again and thought, could it be that I've subdued her again? This is a 6th-level war beast. Long Fei rubbed the bridge of his nose and said unhappily, hit my beast. You're courting death. Control of the idea. The one-eyed tiger suddenly turned, revealing its long fangs. Releasing a low cry from its throat, it stared straight at Lin Tianxiu, and in that moment, roar! A roar! The one-eyed tiger explosively charged forward. Lin Tianxiu's face changed. Beast rebellion? Bastard! With just you! Lin Tianxiu let out a cold snort, and the magic strap in his hand moved slightly. A dark green venom appeared on top of it, and once it hit the one-eyed tiger, it would immediately kill him. Long Fei looked at Yurong. Yurong immediately understood and quickly flanked from the other side. The Xinyu underworld wheel in his hand changed again. It transformed into an arrow. He snapped 2 fingers and pulled fiercely. Buzz, buzz, buzz. 3 true qi profound arrows appeared on the bow. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Instantly, at the same time, Long Fei also rushed over from the other side. Looking at the skill window, he secretly became anxious. Using a skill to cool it down is 2F * King Stupid. There weren't many skills that could be used. However, other than skills, Long Fei had arrogant god energy value. Also, there was also a universal soul. Lin Tianxiu's cultivation was very strong. Even without the level 6 beast, Long Fei and Yurong would not be his match. Yurong, cover me. As soon as he finished, Long Fei suddenly flew into the air. The one-eyed tiger also perfectly coordinated with him in an instant. With a single step, it flew up into the sky and landed on the tiger's back. The sky sword moved. Hoo-hoo. The sky sword shone with a strange light. And then, Long Fei's true qi crazily surged. Sky code. The true qi was drained. Lin Tianxiu sneered. A mere waste of the refinement realm dares to be so impudent in front of me? Since you want to die, I'll grant your wish. What? The magic strap moved, just like its spirit serpent earth. It directly swept towards Long Fei. Along, be careful. Boss. Transformers, go save the boss. We will hold on here. Lin Tianxiu was one of Zhou Yaozong's 8 great generals, the peak realm of the refinement realm, and was extremely strong. Furthermore, the weapon in his hand was a heavenly soul treasure, so under such circumstances, Long Fei would definitely die. Yurong also frowned. The arrowheads on the Xinyu underworld will shot out crazily. At this moment, Long Fei's figure was like an illusion, like a shadow, quickly moving around Lin Tianxiu. Lin Tianxiu's poison whip also appeared in all directions. Long Fei simply did not have the chance to get close to it. The sky code was very strong. It was a sword skill. If he could not get close, just relying on the sword qi would not be enough to kill Lin Tianxiu. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He could not care so much. His left hand held onto the sword, his right hand moved, directly grabbing onto the poison whip. Lin Tianxiu became excited. Ha! You are courting death. The whip lashed out. Long Fei stomped his feet, summoned his one-eyed tiger, and directly sent him out. His right palm was in incomparable pain, and also, the innumerable black threads beneath his skin were like ants as they continuously rushed towards his heart meridian. Pain. The venom in his body was frantically growing. Long Fei endured. Lin Tianxiu sneered. You guys are already dead men. Is that so? If you don't die, how can I die? Long Fei said solemnly. Sky Code. Dying. Powerful sword chi surged out from all directions, directly surrounding Lin Tianshou and flooding him like a tide. This strike, we must take his life, or else the one who will die will be Long Fei. Chapter 2364. Stone Door Open, Evil Surge. Chapter 2364. Stone Door Open, Evil Surge Die. As the sword intent churned, a strange light flashed on the sky sword. The first stage of the Sky Code was released. Lin Tianshou felt an incomparably strong sword intent and was shocked in his heart. To have such a strong sword intent at such a young age, this child must not be allowed to live. The moment Long Fei's sword descended, Lin Tianshou glared, his eyes bloodshot. Blood essence as a guide. Fate Beast. Boom! When the blood essence landed on the ground, Lin Tianshou quickly formed a seal and set his feet on a huge array. The array formation was filled with beast runes, and waves of power was surging under the ground. Bring it on! Fate Centipede! Crack, crack, crack! Long Fei's long sword was still half a meter away from Lin Tianshou when the array beneath his feet suddenly exploded. Boom! An enormous black centipede rushed out. He had feet on his head. Her whole body was shining black. Just like the god of the dragon touching in the popular legend, this guy was even more brutal. Lin Tianshou roared out, "Rip him apart for me." Fate Beast! Yurong's face turned sinister as he shouted, "Long Fei, be careful." The Transformers could no longer hold it in. He turned and was about to charge forward, but when he looked at Long Fei, several warriors collided and flew out. If they still didn't kill him, the blocking tactic would be instantly disintegrated. Long Fei shouted, "Don't come over, don't worry about me, block the place." Once they failed, that would be the real danger. Even if one Lin Tianshou was any stronger, he wouldn't be able to compare to thousands of warriors. Fate Beast. The general has even summoned his Fate Beast. Isn't this guy too terrifying? However, he's dead for sure. You must die. No one has ever been able to survive the hands of the general's Fate Beast. Fate Beast. A life beast unique to the beast mastery. This was using the power of beast taming to make a contract with a kind of demon beast. Let the demon beast absorb the power of his fate wheel. The stronger they were, the stronger the Fate Beast. The Fate Beast that Lin Tianshou had nurtured for dozens of years. This Fate Beast was extremely strong, even more powerful than him. Furthermore, suddenly summoning it, no one could react to it. Ha ha ha! It's your honor to die in the hands of my Fate Beast. Lin Tianshou was very proud. Towards those that he should kill, he would definitely not show any mercy. One-hit kill. This was the style of the army. Long Fei frowned. The light on the sky sword became even brighter. At this moment, he could only give up on Lin Tianshou. Moreover, just as Lin Tianshou had expected, Long Fei's cultivation was too low, and he could not react at all. Long Fei could only bite the bullet and go to battle. He did not expect that a Fate Beast would suddenly appear. Shua! The power of the Sky Code erupted. Hiding behind the Fate Centipede, Lin Tianshou quickly retreated and jumped out of the Sky Code's sword intent. The power of the Sky Code all struck onto the body of the Fate Centipede as well. The antennae had been broken. Also at that moment, the Fate Centipede let out a sinister roar, opened its mouth, and directly spat out the venom at Long Fei, causing the venom to envelop his entire body. Bam! Long Fei heavily smashed onto the ground. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Boss! Long Fei! Along! Boom! Saved his life and gave him his second life, allowing him to become a level 9 demon beast. Seeing that Long Fei was injured, Transformers did not care that much. He rushed out. At the same time, Silver Warbear, a 6th level one-eyed tiger, also rushed out at the same time. War Beast Savior. At the same time, Yurong also used all of his strength to charge towards Long Fei. But at this time, the blocking tactic had completely collapsed, and the big size man and thin monkey were sent flying. War Beast Regiment swarmed in, and in half a minute, hundreds of meters of beast and warrior rushed in. In an instant, Long Fei and the rest were trapped in a desperate situation. Long Fei fell to the ground, his heart sinking when he saw Transformers rushing towards him. He wanted to shout. However, his entire body was numb. Even his tongue was numb, making it impossible for him to make any sounds. Not only that, Long Fei's consciousness went numb, as if his entire body was paralyzed. The poison wrapped around his body continued to seep into his body. Like the poison on the poison whip in his palm, it continued to rush toward his heart. Once the poison entered his heart, Long Fei would die. There was only one way to keep him alive. Upgrade. However, he couldn't even move at all. How was he supposed to kill monsters and gain experience from killing them? The only thing left to do, it was the Transformers. The Fate Centipede had one of its antennae cut off by Long Fei and had already dealt some damage. As long as Transformers killed the Fate Centipede, the experience gained would be enough for Long Fei to level up. As long as he leveled up, all the pain in his body would be gone. Roar! Transformers rushed forward crazily. The armor on his body released a cold light. From right in front of the Fate Centipede, he used both hands to thump his chest, heavily smashing onto it. Fate Centipede was not afraid. The moment the Transformers smashed down, a large amount of venom sprayed out from its mouth. The venom sprayed all over Transformers' body. At the same time, Transformers' movements immediately slowed down. Before his fist could land, the Fate Centipede moved and directly bit on a Transformers' thigh. Woo! The Transformers let out a painful scream as his fist fell. This punch was too weak. A pitiful damaged figure floated above the Fate Centipede's head. The venom was too strong. Instant paralysis of your nerves. He couldn't stop it at all. Boom! Transformers' body fell to the ground. Just like Long Fei, he was paralyzed and could not move. Silver Warbear and One-Eyed Tiger also rushed forward. The result was the same. They were immediately sent flying by the Fate Centipede, while the two war beasts also fell into a state of paralysis. Ha! Ha ha! Lin Tianshou laughed proudly. Do you think trash like you are worthy enough to fight with me? At the same time, the entrance to Secret World was already filled with all the S that came before him. Now, Long Fei and the others had truly stepped into a desperate situation. Don't talk about Fate Centipede S. They could not handle such a huge war beast regiment. There was only one way for them now. A dead end. No, Long Fei would never admit defeat, much less accept his fate. I'm as tough as steel. Long Fei looked at Xiao Dai, who was already by the side of the stone door. His gaze became sinister, and with all his might, he shouted out, "Open the door." This situation. Xiao Dai also did not have any hesitation. He took out the Ancient Moon volume and heavily stuffed it into the stone cave in the middle of the stone door, then fiercely twisted it. Crack! The mechanism was operating. The two stone doors slowly opened, and an evil aura instantly gushed out like a flood. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2365, Finally Out. Chapter 2365, Finally Out. Woo. An evil wind blew out from the stone door, and in that instant, the evil aura enveloped the entire secret world. It was also at this time everyone within the secret world looked towards the stone door. Why did the stone door open? What's inside? Could it be that this secret world still has a second layer? What an evil aura! Many War Beast Regiment began to discuss softly. It was just an evil aura. They weren't afraid, but the war beasts beneath them were a bit restless. Some of them even wanted to escape. Beasts were much more sensitive than humans, especially the dangerous aura. The stone door was in danger, a terrifying danger. Roar! Woo-woo! Roar! All sorts of restless noises could be heard, and the originally neat and orderly formation began to sway back and forth. Some of the war beasts even threw their masters into the air and exploded out. All of a sudden, the secret world became even more chaotic and uneasy. Long Fei's eyes stared straight at the stone door and muttered, "I hope my guess is not wrong." Even though his life was not in danger and the spring of life continued to help him recover his health point, but he could not move at all. Once all the poison attacked his heart, his health point would instantly reach the bottom. In other words, he would be killed in an instant. In that case, no matter how fast the spring of life healed, it was useless. He had to level up. Only leveling up could unlock all the bindings. The Transformers was poisoned, the Silver War Bear was poisoned, the One-Eyed Tiger was poisoned, the Big Size Man, the Thin Monkey was severely injured, and Eeyore was being watched closely by Lin Tianshou. No one could help him. No one was a match for the Fate Centipede either. Long Fei could only place his hopes on the monster behind the stone door. Eeyore glanced at Long Fei and thought to himself, so he already knew the key to opening the stone door, and he just didn't open it. Misunderstood him. Looking at Long Fei, who was wrapped in the poison, Eeyore's heart felt even more uncomfortable. Just what she was thinking about this. In that instant, boom! Lin Tianshou took a step forward as his right hand locked onto Eeyore's throat like a demon claw. Eeyore's reaction was slower by half a beat. However, she still kept on retreating explosively, and at this moment, she shot out a few true chi arrows, barely dodging Lin Tianshou's attack. She was in dire straits herself. With his back against the wall, he had nowhere to retreat to. Seeing that Eeyore had nowhere to retreat to, Lin Tianshou was not in a hurry to take action, coldly snorted, and said, "What's inside?" Eeyore replied, "I don't know." She really didn't know, and even if she did, she wouldn't say it. Eeyore said, "If you want to know, go in and see for yourself." Lin Tianshou's eyes turned sinister and said, "You don't know. You were the one who found this place. How could you not know?" Eeyore laughed and said, "You said I know? All right, I know. Inside is the treasure that you guys want. Something that can absorb Emperor's chi and change the meridians. If you have the guts, you can go in and take it." Is there really such a thing in the world? Lin Tianshou's heart trembled, and he immediately said, "Take it out for me. Otherwise," Lin Tianshou moved. The Fate Centipede also moved. The two pincers in its mouth directly struck towards Long Fei. Eeyore's eyes opened and immediately said, "No." Lin Tianshou laughed. "Go in and bring it out, or else you will need his name." Long Fei shook his head with difficulty, signaling to Eeyore not to go in. There was definitely danger inside. However, Long Fei felt that it was strange. Why was the thing inside still not coming out? Did he have to go in? If that was the case, then there was no hope for him, because he could only cause damage to the Fate Centipede, and only by killing it would Long Fei have a chance at leveling up. Even if all the War Beast Warrior-S were to rush in, and were all killed, Long Fei would not be able to level up. He had to get the monster inside out. Lin Tianshou said solemnly, "Enter." Long Fei shook his head with all his might. Eeyore was very calm as he said, "All right, I'll go in." Lin Tianshou revealed a proud smile and said, "That's more like it. Go in and take out the thing, then I'll spare your dog lives." Huh? And then Lin Tianshou looked at Long Fei and said, "Brat, your luck with women is quite good. This is Zhao Guo's #1 beauty, and moreover, the Crown Prince's fiancée. If you give the Crown Prince green hair, I can only say that you're really something, huh?" Eeyore looked at Long Fei as he walked toward the stone door in big strides. She had no choice. Moreover, why did Long Fei want Xiao Dai to open the stone door? There must be a reason behind it. Eeyore was not stupid. She immediately guessed that Long Fei wanted to use the monsters inside to deal with the people from the War Beast Regiment. Now, all she had to do was lure the monsters out. Just as Eeyore was about to walk towards the stone door, Xiao Dai, who had been hiding at the side without speaking all this time, suddenly stood out and said, "I'll go in and help you get it." As soon as he finished, Xiao Dai took a step into the stone door. Long Fei's eyes suddenly widened, and he wanted to shout loudly. However, his tongue felt numb, and he couldn't make a sound. Eeyore shouted, "Xiao Dai." Lin Tianshou smiled slightly and said, "Brat, another woman who is willing to die for you. I really can't see anything special about you." Long Fei continuously shook his head. Inwardly, he was burning with rage as well. cursing loudly. God damn your ancestors. Xiao Dai's cultivation was too low. With just one move, he would be instantly killed. Yurong was different. She was in the essence refinement realm, so even if she couldn't defeat him, she could still withdraw. Xiao Dai entering was simply courting death. However, Xiao Dai did not turn back at all. To her, letting Yurong take the risk was better than letting her take it because, in her heart, she thought that she was a useless little girl, and sister, Yi was a natural-born beauty. Her talent was outstanding, so she would definitely be more useful to Long Fei than she was. Moreover, Xiao Dai could also tell that Long Fei liked Yurong, and although Yurong did not say it, he liked Long Fei in his heart. She was willing to give anything to help them. Xiao Dai walked to the stone door, turned and smiled at Long Fei, then stepped in. The evil aura instantly devoured her. Long Fei roared out in his heart, "Don't go in." Yurong also quickly flew over and said, "Xiao Dai, don't go in." However, Lin Tianxiu's speed became even faster, and he quickly blocked Yurong's path and said, "If she dies, you can go in again." F***CK. Long Fei was so angry that he immediately opened the system store to search for the detoxification pill. He had to remove the poison from his body, or else he would not be able to do anything. Holy **T. An Earth Stage antidote pill actually costs 1,000,000 points of exchange value. System your ass. Long Fei cursed fiercely. Long Fei was very anxious right now. He was incomparably frantic. Just as he was feeling anxious, a terrifying voice came out of the stone door. Woo! In that instant, the stone door suddenly opened. The evil aura surged out even more. In the next second, the secret world was silent. However, the Fate Centipede began to get restless. Without any hesitation, it dug into the ground. Right above its head, a zombie was hanging upside down. A zombie with black fur all over its body and a golden glow beneath its black fur. Long Fei shouted excitedly, "Fuck, I'm finally out." The time for excitement had come. The time for excitement had come. In a moment of life and death. Whether he was dead or alive, it all depended on it. Long Fei held his breath and listened quietly. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Fate Centipede Beast for obtaining 100,000 experience, 10,000 True Chi points, and 10 Arrogant God Energy Value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Fate Centipede. Do you wish to fuse it? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at the 7th grade of Refining Chi. It leveled up. Haha! I've finally leveled up. In the instant of leveling up, the bindings on Long Fei's body immediately disappeared, and the poison was expelled out of his body in an instant. The Fate Centipede's poison was no longer effective on him. He regained his freedom. He clenched his fists. Cluck, 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 Long Fei said in his heart. Fuck, it's my turn now, right? At this moment, the system sounded out once again. Ding! System notification. The Fate Centipede can use Force of Variation. Would you like to use it? The Force of Variation can be used on Fate Centipede S? Long Fei did not realize this. Moreover, what did the system mean by special reminder? Long Fei did not think too much into it, and his mind moved. Okay, I'll see what you can mutate into. Use the Force of Variation. Ding! The Force of Variation has fused with the Fate Centipede. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for obtaining the God of the Dragon Touching. Do you wish to receive it? Haha! Long Fei laughed like a blooming flower. He did not expect that a single drop of Force of Variation could turn a centipede into a God of the Dragon Touching. The moment the Fate Centipede came out, Long Fei immediately thought of the hot-blooded legendary God of the Dragon Touching. Although they looked similar, but a centipede was a centipede. No matter how powerful it was only a centipede. The God of the Dragon Touching was different. This fellow was massive, and his attacks were explosive. More importantly, other than spitting out an aggressive poison, this fellow could also spew out a numbing venom. All sorts of venoms and poisons could be dealt with by it. There was nothing it couldn't do. Fate Beast, God of the Dragon Touching Grade. Mutated Attribute. Poison attack. 8 stars description. The god of the dragon touching has all sorts of poisons. An attack range of 200 meters. Description 2. Paralysis probability 10%. Seeing the god of the dragon touching's attribute. Long Fei laughed and sighed. A 200-meter range attack. This is asking for a person's life. Haha. It'll be easier to level up from now on. Attract a wave of monsters and summon this guy out. That would be great. Haha. Long Fei was very excited in his heart, but when he saw the warriors that were scattered all over the place, he was even more excited. He had more important things to do now, so he crawled up from the ground. He stared at Lin Tianshou and bellowed. You want my woman to become your cannon fodder? Your ancestor? Shua. Long Fei quickly rushed out. The sky sword in his hand moved. Strange lights flashed. Lin Tianshou did not even put Long Fei in his eyes. Moreover, his current target was the black-haired zombie. Kill my fate beast, I want your life. He was enraged to the extreme. He lost his cool, and because of this, Lin Tianshou lost his most basic judgment. The black-haired zombie's eyes turned sinister, and a black light burst out from its body. Before Lin Tianshou could pull out the spurs, it was directly knocked away by the black light. He wouldn't be able to withstand this aura of power. You want to kill the black-haired zombie? It was simply impossible. Bam! Lin Tianshou's entire person struck the wall of the cave and bounced down. He spurted out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale white. The pain was unbearable. However, this caused him to be more clear-headed. The black-haired zombie in front of him was too sharp, and he could not deal with it. Lin Tianshou said fiercely, "Withdraw." But, without waiting for him to finish saying the word retreat, Long Fei descended and stood in front of him, asking sinisterly, You dare anger this daddy-me into leaving? Do you agree? Lin Tianshou coldly snorted, You dog scram. F***CK off. Long Fei bellowed in rage. Before Lin Tianshou could stand up from the ground, he kicked him. Although Lin Tianshou was injured, he was still a powerhouse at the peak of the refinement realm, and his level was much higher than Long Fei's. His reaction was also the same. His body rolled. He smacked the ground with his right hand, and with a sudden bounce, he flew up into the air. With trash like you? You want to touch me? Lin Tianshou scoffed disdainfully, but before he finished speaking, his eyes turned sinister because Long Fei's figure had disappeared. She suddenly disappeared. At the same time, he suddenly saw a black X pattern on his body. What the hell is this? Suspended in midair, Long Fei's figure disappeared. On his body, there was an additional stripe. I don't understand. Lin Tianshou's gaze swept across them. You dog, come out and die. Chua. After half a second, Long Fei's figure appeared like a strand of fog. However, he did not stop. The damage is not enough. I must deal some more damage before the absorbing skill explodes. When Lin Tianshou saw that Long Fei had appeared, and the piercing marks on his body had disappeared, there was actually a ball of blood-black fog on his chest. No matter how hard he tried, it could not dissipate it. It didn't hurt at all. Lin Tianshou did not think much of it, and looked at Long Fei with contempt, pretending to be mysterious. I'll kill you first. Walk out of the secret world again. Then we'll block off the secret world's entrance. Let's see how long Yi Yurong can stay inside. Lin Tianshou's eyes turned sinister as he suppressed the pressure from the refinement realm. Buzz! A strong pressure bound Long Fei's mind. Huff! Long Fei breathed softly, and the sky's sword seemed to be breathing. Move! A single slash severed the pressure. He moved again. The sky sword in Long Fei's hand flashed with a strange light. The sword intent that came out went against the heavens, forming a sword chi that flew out and crazily slashed onto Lin Tianshou's body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk one after another of damage floated above Lin Tianshou's head. However, it didn't kill him. Lin Tianshou was shocked, but he still carried a cold smile on his face and said, You want to kill me just because of this technique? Long Fei smiled. Enough. Lin Tianshou asked, What is enough? Long Fei said, Killing this kind of trash is enough. Ha ha! Lin Tianshou laughed out loud. I'm fine now. Are you going to kill me? Long Fei laughed faintly, and then said as he counted, 3, 2, 1, die. Lin Tianshou contemptuously said, I'm still alive. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, the blood-red black mist on his chest suddenly pulled, and like 10,000 killing intents, it surged into his body, cutting off all life in his body. His mind was shattered. The sea of consciousness was broken. His internal organs had all shattered. The health point on top of his head suddenly emitted an explosive whoosh as they all bottomed out. Lin Tianshou stared at Long Fei, black blood flowing out of his mouth. He could not even say a word. He did not even know how he died. Long Fei said solemnly, Explode for me. Thank you for your support. Chinese, www.37zw.net. Chapter 2368, Death for All. Chapter 2368, Death for All. The eruption of the absorbing skill. When the last bit of HP left Lin Tianshou's head, the system notification sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Lin Tianshou for gaining 180,000 experience, 18,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Beast Master Magic Strap. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 5 Spirit Beast Pills. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system kept beeping. However, this guy was only at the Essence Refinement realm, so he could only be considered a small boss. Even if he dropped something, it wouldn't drop anything awesome. Long Fei didn't think much of it. But there was another characteristic to the absorbing skills killing. That would absorb 10% of Lin Tianshou's cultivation. These cultivation level would be converted into experience for Long Fei. Suddenly, the system sounded out once again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for gaining 1293283 experience. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at the 8th level of Qi Refining. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at the 9th level of Qi Refining. Awesome! Following the 2 leveling notifications, Long Fei couldn't help but yell out. In less than 5 minutes, he had risen by 3 levels. No one else. Level. The thing that Long Fei desired the most right now. His current level was too low. The Qi refining stage was not even worth mentioning in the God's Sect gathering. Moreover, once the matter of Eorong taking Zhao Haoyan's life was found out by the Zhao family, the God's Sect gathering would be in even more danger. He had to become even stronger. General. Seeing Lin Tianshou lying in a pool of blood, all the warrior around seemed to have gone crazy. However, no one dared to charge forward. Just because they did not rush over did not mean that Long Fei would let them go. All of you must die. Long Fei's gaze swept across, looking at War Beast Regiment. His killing intent was gloomy. All these people were from the experience. How could he let them go? Killing all these people would definitely allow him to step into the essence condensation realm. Long Fei's words made their hearts tremble. It was also at this time. Revenge for the general, yelled one of the advisors. War Beast Regiment. Bang! He was going to throw caution to the wind. As soon as his voice fell, over 100 beast riders charged forward. Long Fei was not in a hurry, but looked at the black-haired zombie not far away. The War Beast Regiment was very strong. However, what made Long Fei even more worried was the black-haired zombie that was continuously devouring the corpses. Just now, when Transformers and the others had killed all the beast riders by the side, the black-haired zombie was like a hungry ghost, frantically devouring the blood and corpses. Since that was the case, Long Fei landed beside Transformers and placed a beast spirit pellet into his mouth. The beast pill entered his body. Transformers' body immediately burst out a red light. Boom! The huge body suddenly stood up. It was the same for the Silver Warbear and the One-Eyed Tiger. Boom! 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 The 3 war beasts stood in a row, looking at the incoming army of war beasts, their bodies slightly lowered, their rear feet slightly retracting, their feet digging into the ground. Roar! Transformers roared. In an instant, three beasts rushed out at the same time, their bodies like cannonballs, smashing straight towards War Beast Regiment. In 3 seconds, he was already 100 meters away. They also clashed together in an instant. Rumble! 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 He flipped over the beasts, and the furious Transformers acted as if there was no one else around, as he swung his arms, sending dozens of War Beast Regiment-s flying. The roar of the Silver Warbear. The One-Eyed Tiger's aerial attack. Over 100 War Beast Regiment-s were completely crushed. As for Long Fei, seeing the instant of chaos, his lips curled up slightly, revealing a cold smile. All of these are experience points. All of you will die. The sky's sword shone with a cold light. Long Fei rushed into the chaotic battlefield with his long afterimage, his silhouette constantly swaying back and forth on top of the beast bodies. It was like a stream of light was shuttling back and forth at high speed. In a short moment, the shadows of Long Fei's body constantly overlapped, and one after another returned to his body. Long Fei shouted, "Come back!" Transformers leaped. Silver Warbear and One-Eyed Tiger also quickly ran back to Long Fei's side. Those Beast Riders looked at Long Fei and said, "Brat, you actually dared to provoke Zhou's army. A mere Xinyu sect, I will annihilate you instantly." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei smiled slightly. He suddenly froze, and his true chi surged out like the tide, turning the surrounding flowing sword intent into a killing sword aura. Kill them all. Die. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk amongst 100 or so War Beast Regiment-s. Countless of sword chi slashes cut horizontally, vertically, crazily wreaking havoc, completely unable to stop at all. The area of 100 meters around them turned into a gigantic slaughterhouse. It was a bloody hell. There is only one word in this world: kill. The power of Sky Sword. Ah! Miserable screams rang out repeatedly. They had no idea how to defend themselves, nor could they escape. The entire death graveyard was hell. Ding! 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 The system beep began to rage. Long Fei could not stop at all. His experience soared like a hurricane as he thought to himself, "Just one word, great! Ha-ha!" The 100 War Beast Regiment-s, along with their beasts, died in a short half a minute. The remaining War Beast Regiment-s, who were hundreds of meters away, were all frightened out of their wits. Their eyes were empty, and they looked just like idiots. He had never seen such a powerful move. Was this the power released by a Chi condensation warrior? Is this the power of an Azura? In that instant, a warrior suddenly knelt down. "Master, please forgive me." How haughty were the War Beast Regiment-s of the War Beast Regiment. Other than the great General Zhou Yaozong, they were not like other people who would kneel, including the people from the Zhao family. The War Beast Regiment was the most glorious place. The Zhou's army's recruitment was also one of the strongest legions in the Zhenwu continent. They were actually kneeling to someone who was only in the Qi refining stage. Next, a few more people kneeled down. "Let's go. We won't dare to do it again. Please, spare us." People continued to kneel down in fear. There was nothing in this world that could compare to life. If they died, there was nothing else. If Lin Tianshou was dead, then the 100 Beast Warrior-s were instantly killed. They wanted to live. Begging for mercy? Long Fei laughed coldly and looked at Transformers. Transformers walked out. At the same time, Silver Warbear and One-Eyed Tiger also walked out. Long Fei's voice sank. "Now where's my King begging? Aren't you very proud at the beginning? Are you very arrogant? Begging for mercy now. Do you think I'll let you off? Kill them all. All of you must die." Chapter 2369, Lottery, Alien Invitation Scroll. Chapter 2369, Lottery, Alien Invitation Scroll. Long Fei was not a saint. He wasn't a good person either. He could do anything for his own benefit. Not to mention these people kneeling and begging for mercy. Even if these people were kneeling and calling him father, he would still kill them because These people were all experienced. For example, you play a game and look pitiful while you don't kill? Released just like that? Then what are you playing for? Moreover, Long Fei was not playing online games. He was currently in the real world, a world where the powerhouse was revered and where people ate each other. If you don't change, others will step on you. Thus, he definitely wouldn't have any sympathy. The Transformers madly crushed them, the silver warbear and the one-eyed tiger guarding the exit. The sky sword in Long Fei's hands continuously danced in a frenzy. The entire secret world was like a bloody hell. Help! Save us! Ding, ding, ding. System beep. Miserable screams, cries for help, and roars from war beasts intertwined like crazy. This sort of feeling was like the climax of a symphony. In the entire secret world, only one person remained calm and collected. To be exact, he should not be human. Black-haired zombie. He tore and gnawed at the pile of corpses. His entire body was stained with blood. His blackened pupils slowly turned blood red. The radiance under his long black fur also slowly turned blood red. It was as if he was about to evolve. He continued to swallow. Lin Tianshou's body was grabbed by him and sucked dry of all the blood and essence in his body. All the war beasts and people were sucked dry by him and turned into a dried-up corpse. The evil aura on his body grew stronger and stronger. Long Fei was too involved with killing these war beast regiments and did not care about the black-haired zombie that was silently developing at the side. Boom! Boom! Phantom sword dance. Kill! Long Fei's sword chi moved, spinning a large amount of people into the air, causing sword chi to wreak havoc. Over 10 people were killed in an instant, the system's notification sound resounding continuously. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Warrior Beast for gaining 15,800 experience, 1,300 true chi points, and 1 arrogant god energy value point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining military pill. All of these War Beast Warrior S released military pills. This kind of pill was specially provided by the army. It did not have a rank, but it was very strong. Not only could it heal injuries, it could also recover true chi, provide speed, and increase strength. Whether it was cultivation or battle, they were all high-quality spirit pills. This was something that the Zhou and Zhao families had spent a lot of money to create. Only soldiers in the army have the right to take it. This was also the reason why no matter how strong the cultivators on the Zhenwu continent were, they would never be stronger than a country. No matter how big a sect is, do you have a nation? No matter how many resources you have in your cultivation, do you have a country with a lot of resources? The amount of martial spirit pills that Long Fei had dropped was growing more and more, and the space ring were slowly piled up in a pile. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up, currently at the first level of the refinement stage. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for breaking through the refinement realm and obtaining the system's special reward. Special reward? Free lottery draw. Long Fei was secretly happy in his heart. It's been a long time since I've received the system's reward. Huff. Long Fei did not think too much about it. He was too excited now. How could he not be excited? So much so that he had completely forgotten about the black-haired zombie that was gradually becoming stronger, and also, Yirong and Xiao Dai both entered the stone door. What was going on inside? Long Fei was careless for a moment. Lottery. The idea moved. Long Fei started to draw. The wheel started spinning crazily. Half a minute later, Long Fei slowed down and jumped one by one. After missing out on another good thing, he let out a sigh. Seeing the good thing in front of him, he once again revealed an excited expression. Stop, 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 stop. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the invitation to another world. Looking at the items chosen, Long Fei was a little stupefied. Invitation from another world? Wasn't lousy in another world? Don't tell me that we have to go to other realms. F***CK. System, what kind of plane are you on? He was clearly in a different world. You can go to another world? Long Fei was a little confused. And then, he opened up the system to check the properties of the invitation from another world. Item, Alien invitation scroll, quest category, description. In receipt of some kind of summoning, supplication, prayer, the otherworldly invitation scroll will be activated because of this. Players can choose to enter or choose not to enter now. Description 2. This item is a one-time item and cannot be used again. Description 3. The otherworldly invitation scroll summarizes all the planes in the universe. Heaven realm, underworld realm, sun realm, God realm. Earth. Long Fei did not care about anything else. The last one. Earth. Long Fei was startled. His entire person felt like he was struck by lightning. Earth? Can go back to Earth? Really? It's really possible? System. I haven't read many books, so don't lie to me. Earth. If he could go back, wouldn't he be pulling the wind and lightning along with his cultivation base? All of a sudden, Long Fei was extremely excited. He was a transcender, and he liked the current world, but his soul was from Earth after all. So how many wanderers wouldn't want to go home and have a look? Even though he knew in his heart that the otherworldly invitation scroll was a one-time use, and once it was time, he would be summoned back. But it's also good to be able to go back to Earth and have a look. Even if it was just for a day, an hour was enough. Gudong. Long Fei heavily gulped down his saliva. The sudden invitation scroll from another world had made him somewhat confused. Looking at the pitch-black sky, Long Fei thought to himself, if only I could return to Earth once. Boom! Transformers cupped his fists and fiercely attacked. The last war beast warrior was killed. It was also at this time. The black-haired zombie did not wait for the corpse to stiffen and instantly attacked. It fiercely sucking all the blood essence and instantly turning its body into a dried-up corpse. They killed quickly. The black-haired zombie absorbed faster. After absorbing the last corpse, the black-haired zombie's eyes turned blood red. It roared towards the sky. Roar! An extremely dense chi burst out from his body. Incomparable savagery. Its black mane started to slowly change, becoming a light red color. From within the black-haired zombie's body, a humming sound could be heard. Boom! The golden body turned blood red. It was even more terrifying. The big-sized man looked at Long Fei in a daze and shouted, "Boss, the monster has evolved." Long Fei's expression changed. Looking at the black-haired zombie, his heart sank. Damn it! At the same time, Transformers had already rushed forward. Long Fei shouted loudly, "Don't go over!" Chapter 2370, Zombie Evolution, Summon God of the Dragon Touching. Chapter 2370, Zombie Evolution, Summon God of the Dragon Touching. Being too excited, Long Fei was too careless. He did not expect that the black-haired zombie would evolve in less than an hour. Long Fei looked at the surrounding corpses, his scalp slightly numb. I was too careless. Bam! Bang, bang, bang. Seeing the evolution of the black-haired zombie, the Transformers rushed forward madly, wanting to seize this opportunity to smash the black-haired zombie to the ground. Seeing the great Transformers rushing over, Long Fei immediately roared out, "Don't go up! Don't go over there!" Boom! Transformers clenched both his fists, his right fist sinking down. King Kong powerful fist. Chua! The punch was like a violent thunderbolt. Even the air began to distort from the force. The power of this punch was too ferocious. Even Earth-stage Demon Beast would probably not be able to handle it. However, the black-haired zombie stood in place without moving, its blood-red eyes not even sparing the Transformers a single glance. This was the kind of contempt that came from the depths of its bones. The fist descended. A fierce wind was raging on the ground. However, Transformers' fist stopped half a meter above the black-haired zombie's head. No matter how hard he tried, it was useless to stop. You can't even get close? Long Fei's pupils suddenly contracted as he immediately shouted, "Retreat! Quick retreat!" Transformers was unconvinced in his heart. Even his strongest punch was blocked. He was unhappy, extremely unhappy. He did not retreat at all. Instead, he retracted his right hand and swept his left arm. Roar! This is bad. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Transformers' left arm drew a line of energy pattern, sweeping towards the black hair zombie's chest. It was also at this moment. The distance of half a meter was blocked off by a strong wave of energy, leaving him with no way of entering. Moreover, the black hair zombie's face did not even bat an eyelid. It was out of a strong sense of confidence. This defense, this power. Long Fei's heart became more and more shocked. He is much stronger than the Xian Yu's secret territory's green-haired zombie. This tomb is too weird. Who would place such a monster inside? He now believed even more firmly that this grave was definitely not the tomb of the Ming clan's #1 war god, Ming Long. These zombies were not the embodiment of a corpse, but had been inside it ever since the tomb was built. They have been alive for hundreds of millions of years. Retreat, quick, quick, quick. You're not his opponent. Long Fei roared anxiously. Strength was on a completely different level. The black-haired zombie did not put the Transformers in her eyes at all. However, just as Transformers was about to retract his left arm, the black-haired zombie's pupils suddenly moved. Transformers' eyes stared wide open as he let out a roar. The muscles on his left arm also fiercely bulged, and the veins on his left arm bulged. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't free his left arm. Not only that, Transformers' entire body was covered in cold sweat. The long fur directly pierced into his flesh and continuously climbed up along his arm, absorbing crazily. Woo-woo. Incomparable pain. Transformers' entire body was twitching. Seeing that, Long Fei did not hesitate. He leapt out heavily and pulled out his sky sword, then slashed at the Transformers' arm. Roar! Transformers let out a blood-curdling screech. Although it was very painful, it was the end of the pain as well. Blood spurted out like crazy, and Transformers retreated like crazy. His entire left arm fell to the ground. His left arm was completely covered in black hair, without a single strand of flesh. Terrifying. If he was even a few seconds slower, Transformers' life would have been lost. One arm was missing to protect his life. Long Fei threw some pills to Transformers and immediately said, "Quickly, consume them." At the same time, Long Fei stared at the black-haired zombie, his eyes sinister. Who exactly are you guarding the tomb for? And what kind of person would place something like you inside? He absolutely did not believe that it was the necropolis of the Netherworm. There was no powerhouse's tomb that would contain such an evil monster. Moreover, this type of zombie, it wouldn't die even after trillions of years. Once it broke through the shackles and gave him enough blood essence, it would completely erupt all of its cultivation for the last trillions of years. Evolution in such a short time. If he went out, the entire Xianyu mountain range would probably be sucked dry by him. No one would put such a monster into a tomb, unless the tomb itself was a trap. The black-haired zombie's eyes moved sinisterly as it stared at Long Fei. Its blood-red eyes suddenly flashed with a ray of blood-red light and entered a state of extreme excitement. Excited, he seemed to have discovered something. Staring at Long Fei, he became exceptionally excited. Long Fei's mind trembled. He immediately became alert. His blood essence was not normal. Long Fei had already noticed it when he was attracting the demon beast. The black-haired zombie in front of him suddenly became excited. It must have realized that his blood essence was different from that of ordinary people. Actually, not only that, black-haired zombie found even more, and just blood essence was only one of them. Shua! The black-haired zombie attacked in an instant. Boss, be careful. Boss! So fast. Long Fei's pupils suddenly contracted. Without any hesitation, his body immediately retreated backwards, reaching his limits in the essence condensation realm. Bam! There was a sharp pain in his chest, as if it was about to split open. His body was also sent flying. Boom! Hitting the stone wall 100 meters away, Long Fei was unable to control himself and vomited a mouthful of blood. His health point instantly decreased to 100. Just a little bit more, and he would have been killed instantly. It was also at this time that the spring of life crazily surged. Health point plus 10 points. Health point plus 10 points. Health point plus 10 points. A series of green recovery numbers appeared above his head, and the blood on top of Long Fei's head quickly recovered as he thought to himself, if it wasn't for this spring of life, I probably would have already. After sending Long Fei flying in one move, the black-haired zombie did not pursue, but stared at Long Fei more seriously. It was as if he could see through Long Fei. Seeing that Long Fei's injuries were quickly recovering, a streak of red light flashed in the eyes of the black-haired zombie again as the corner of its mouth slightly moved. He laughed. The zombie actually laughed? This expressionless monster could actually laugh? Long Fei subconsciously thought that this guy was about to become smart. Bam! The black-haired zombie took a small step forward. Silver War Bear rushed forward. Without looking, he swung his right hand. Boom! Silver War Bear was immediately sent flying. The one-eyed tiger swooped down from the sky again. The black-haired zombie was also sent flying with one hand. Both of his eyes stared at Long Fei ferociously. The smile on his face became even more excited. It was the kind of smile that would appear on one who had discovered a great treasure. Hoo. Long Fei crawled up from the ground, looked at the black-haired zombie, and asked, "What are you laughing at? You like to laugh? Your elder will let you laugh your head off today." Suddenly, Long Fei's mind moved, the idea sank, and shouted loudly, "God of the Dragon touching, come out!" Boom! The ground suddenly quaked. Suddenly, 100-meter-tall, entirely golden body, with two long tentacles resembling bamboo whips growing on the top of its head, appeared out of nowhere and spewed venom. Long Fei said, "Let's see how long you can continue laughing." Chapter 2371, Invincible Defense. Chapter 2371, Invincible Defense. The god of the dragon touching did not stop even for a moment when it was summoned. It burrowed out from the ground and puffed out violently. Even Long Fei himself was a little dumbstruck by the outburst. The heck, is that the god of the dragon touching of the legend of Hot Blood? This is the perverted private service version of the super god of the dragon touching, right? The effect of 6 parts of the Red Cross that have peerless attack speed. Long Fei was stunned. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. It was as if a thunderstorm was brewing, and the scene was completely unstoppable. The speed was too fast, and green venom continued to pour out from within a radius of 100 meters. Scarlet numbers continuously floated up on top of the black-haired zombie's head. 293 inch, 192, 392. Damage was not high, but its speed was dazzling, and bright red numbers crazily floated up. Even the naked eye could not see them clearly, and could only see a long string of bright red afterimages continuously superimposing on each other. At the same time, the amount of blood on the head of the black-haired zombie also showed up. 1 million HP. Long Fei was secretly shocked. He secretly clicked his tongue, and then became excited. The stronger, the more sharp the words will be. So what if it has 1 million HP? Even if you have 10 million, it's useless. Long Fei looked at the god of the dragon, touching behind him, and said disdainfully, "You want to kill this daddy? Come on." The black-haired zombie looked at the incomparably huge god of the dragon touching, and his expression changed secretly. His entire body was bubbling with venom. He couldn't stop it at all. However, he did not panic, but his eyes were tightly locked on a Long Fei. As long as he could kill Long Fei, it would be fine. His throat was churning. Suddenly, a red light burst out from the black-haired zombie's body. Blood fury, rampage. Long Fei frowned, and immediately put his entire body and mind on guard. Shwa! The black-haired zombie's figure moved like lightning, and in almost an instant, it had already appeared in front of Long Fei. With a move of its palm, its long black fingernail was like a sharp sword, piercing towards Long Fei's throat. It was too fast. It simply did not give Long Fei a chance to react. Long Fei's pupils shrank as the idea moved. Colorful lizard shield. There was an extra square of health point. He subconsciously used all of his strength on his defense. If he wanted to block the zombie's attack, he wouldn't die as long as he wasn't instantly killed. as long as he didn't die instantly. Long Fei's heart tightened, just as he was getting ready. Suddenly, the black-haired zombie stood where it was without moving. The long fingernail on its palm was just 3 centimeters away from his throat. If it was for another 10% of a second, its throat would probably be cut. What's going on? Long Fei was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. Looking at the black-haired zombie's body, it wasn't black, nor was it red. It was a petrified gray, and its blood-red eyes were still open in anger. Paralyzed state. The god of the dragon touching's paralytic venom has been activated. Long Fei was ecstatic. He stared at the black-haired zombie. You want my life? Now it's my turn to take your life. The sky sword moved. It directly pierced toward the black-haired zombie's throat. It could be said that Long Fei had even used all of his strength, but, however, the sky sword could not even get half a centimeter into the throat of the black-haired zombie. It was like stabbing into a thick steel plate. In the instant it stabbed forward, a burst of golden light exploded. This defense, too strong. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. This level is way higher than the green-haired zombies. Even the third-rank sky sword on the primordial divine weapon ranking couldn't break through his defense. Long Fei's mind was a little numb. Actually, it had nothing to do with the sky sword. No matter how strong a normal divine weapon was, it required a strong user. If one was unable to release its power, then no matter how strong the divine weapon was, it would be useless. Long Fei's current level is still too low. The essence condensation realm was not enough. Not to mention that the monster he was facing now was a creature that had lived for 10 billion years. The sword did not deal any damage. Long Fei did not stay, but instantly retreated because the paralyzing effect on the black-haired zombie was about to end. If he were to attack first, Long Fei dared not guarantee that he could block it. The instant Long Fei jumped away. Woo! The black-haired zombie let out an angry roar, spitting out a mouthful of blood mist. Its blood-colored eyes became even more terrifying and gloomy. The paralysis just now had made him extremely unhappy. However, his eyes were still locked on Long Fei. Shua! Without waiting for Long Fei to stand firm, the black-haired zombie suddenly flew out again and instantly landed beside Long Fei and struck again with its palm. This time, he was even angrier. His strength increased. However, in that moment of life and death, the black-haired zombie's body turned petrified again. Paralyzed again, Long Fei's heart trembled. The sky sword moved slightly. Fairy from heaven. Shua! He leapt into the air and plunged downwards. Heaven-defying sword intent. The sword cheese swirled like a hurricane. One by one, the wind howled down. The sword cheese from all directions bombarded down. You can block this move? The fairy from heaven was a very powerful sword move and could be said to be able to instantly kill the Golden Protector level's powerhouse. Its attack power was extremely powerful. The sky sword descended and firmly stabbed the black-haired zombie on the head. However, a pathetic damage figure floated up. This damage was simply humiliating Long Fei. Is fairy from heaven only this kind of damage? Even Long Fei himself could not believe it. Damn, how strong is this guy's defense? He could not bear it any longer. They had never encountered such a monster with abnormal defense. Sky Sword's power could not cause any damage, and now even the powerful sword move, Fairy from Heaven, was not enough. Looking at the number of injuries, Long Fei wanted to die. Was there really no other way? Long Fei really couldn't think of a way to kill the black-haired zombie. His defense was simply too powerful. There was no blind spot on his body. There was no way at all. Unless, when Long Fei thought about Universal Soul. Indeed, the Universal Soul was extremely sharp, but it was only used once, and once used it would be gone. It was not in a desperate situation yet, and this was the last thing he could rely on to save his life. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. It's not time yet. All bosses have their own weakness. This black-haired zombie must be the same. Long Fei quickly jumped away. His eyes locked onto the black-haired zombie. Roar! The numbing effect on the black-haired zombie disappeared once again, and its eyes turned sinister. It became even more furious, but this time it did not chase after Long Fei, because the god of the dragon touching made him extremely unhappy. His gaze shifted. The black-hair zombie stared at the god of the dragon touching. All the black fur on its body suddenly exploded, and as if its body suddenly multiplied, it took a step forward. Bam! He landed right in front of the god of the dragon touching, supported by his legs, and flew up. Long Fei thought about the death of the Fate Centipede and was shocked. Oh no! Chapter 2372, Universal Soul, Open. Chapter 2372, Universal Soul, Open. Once the god of the dragon touching died, then Long Fei really didn't have anything to rely on. Right now, he could only rely on the god of the dragon touching's venom to deal damage to the black-hair zombie. If the god of the dragon touching died, then he would immediately be dismembered by it. He watched as the black-hair zombie suddenly flew into the air. Long Fei suddenly roared out, "Grandson, didn't you want to kill grandfather? Grandfather is here. Come bite me." The black-hair zombie ignored him. Long Fei roared again, "You don't dare anymore? You scum monster! You dare to be arrogant in front of me? You want to swallow my blood essence? If you have the guts, then come at me." While they were talking, with a slash from the sky sword, a bloody wound appeared on its arm, and fresh blood dripped out. In his blood essence, a powerful aura began to surge. When the black-hair zombie that was flying in the air smelled the blood essence on Long Fei's arm, its pupils suddenly shrank, its body trembled, and it immediately descended towards Long Fei. As expected, Long Fei's heart thumped. What exactly is in my blood essence? Obviously, Long Fei's blood essence had an irresistible temptation to black-hair zombie. The excitement in the black-hair zombie's eyes was the same, like a vampire asking for fresh blood, but the blood essence in Long Fei's body was definitely not ordinary. Long Fei asked himself, what kind of blood vein is he? Seeing the black-hair zombie fall, Long Fei also quickly retreated. Before he found the black-hair zombie's weakness, the only thing he could do was to roam around and use the super venom of the god of the dragon touching to constantly consume. He was going to die from exhaustion. This was the only way. Long Fei quickly fled and surrounded the god of the dragon touching's body as he continuously roared, "Come, grandson, come, bite grandfather." While he was running, the blood on his arm was also slowly dripping down, about to flow onto the sky sword. The black-hair zombie crazily chased. There were several times that he almost caught Long Fei, but there were also several times that he fell into a petrified state, causing him to become even more mad and angry. Huff, huff. Half an hour later, Long Fei panted heavily as he was drenched in sweat. Looking at the amount of blood on the black-hair zombie's head, he said, "It's finally going to die. If he doesn't die, I'm going to die of exhaustion." Even true Qi would not be able to recover from such a frenzied escape. However, there was only a little bit of hair left on the head of the black-hair zombie. It only had less than 10,000 HP left. It was about to die. This was the terror of poison. I can't kill you. Your father will exhaust you to death. It was just that amazing. This was also the power of a priestess, Taoist priest. As long as there was enough poison, they would not be able to kill the boss. To them, it was just a matter of time. I'll see how you can act so arrogant in another half a minute. Long Fei gasped for breath and said with his mouth dried. Black-hair zombie seemed to not feel that he was going to die. His speed did not slow down at all and continued to chase after Long Fei. At this time, the blood essence that dripped down from Long Fei's arm had already landed on the sky sword S, and the sword continued to flash with a strange light. One after another, the sword was pierced through the rust on the sword's body. The strange light grew stronger and stronger. 10-9, Long Fei started to run again. Looking at the amount of blood on the black-hair zombie's head, the corner of his mouth raised into a smile. I'm going to die soon, haha. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grandson, explode for me. The black-hair zombie's head still had a few dozen points of blood left, One of its attacks was enough to kill him. The god of the dragon, touching, also spat out venom onto the black hair zombie's body. A number floated above his head. 43-inch, huh? This damage is a little low. Moreover, there is still a little bit of blood on the head of the black hair zombie. Long Face said, "Then let's spray it again." The god of the dragon, touching, spat out another mouthful of venom. "You're not going to die this time?" As the venom gushed out, the black hair zombie stood in its original spot motionlessly. Long Face's eyes flashed with excitement. "It's broken, it's going to explode soon." A little bit of health could instantly kill him. He was helpless. However, Long Face's excited smile still remained. The blood-red light around the black hair zombie's body suddenly disappeared. Walala! Crash! Walala! The sound of space splitting apart sounded out one after another. The black hair zombie opened its mouth and sucked. One by one, the corpses were absorbed into his body. It was also at this moment. The blood above his head was like a surging tide, crazily rising, and it was even faster than the spring water from Long Face's spring of life that was recovering his health point, and even several times faster. In just a few seconds, 1 million HP recovered. Completed. This time, Long Fei was instantly dumbstruck. This, how are we going to kill them? There was no other way. Its defense was heaven-defying. Long Fei's attacks could not kill it. Now, after spending more than half an hour, the god of the dragon touching's venom used up more than 990,000 HP. This guy was invincible. Long Fei's mind was in a mess. He had never met such an abnormal monster. Suddenly, a light flashed in his mind. I have the spring of life. As long as it isn't an instant kill, I won't die. This guy, it can also automatically restore health point, and it will definitely be done more than once. So you're saying his weaknesses are the same as mine. I can only kill him in an instant, otherwise I'll never be able to kill him? Thinking of this, Long Fei became even more desperate. 1 million HP instantly killed? How is that possible? You can't even break through the defense, and you want to die instantly? S' brain was about to explode now. He laughed bitterly in his heart. If this is his weakness, then even if I break through the Emperor Jinwu's realm, I still won't be able to kill this boss. Roar! The black-haired zombie let out a roar. Incomparable rage. It also seemed like he was releasing his emotions. The blood-red light around him trembled, and in an instant, his figure vanished. Faster. It was even fiercer. Furthermore, Long Fei was still in a state of shock when the black-haired zombie suddenly disappeared. Long Fei's pupils contracted as sharp as needles and thought to himself, "Damn it, I'm going to die." He couldn't sense where the black-haired zombie was at all. Right now, he didn't even know where to run to. The difference in power levels was simply too great. F***CK. Long Fei clenched his teeth and said fiercely, "I'm going all out." His mind moved. The ideas were wide open. The idea connected to the lump of universal soul in the system space, and the universal soul also slightly moved. Following the disappearance of Long Fei's, the universal soul, which was controlled by the idea, entered Long Fei's body. At this moment, Long Fei's body felt a wave of strength that he had never felt before. The sky sword that had absorbed Long Fei's blood essence trembled faintly. Universal soul. He actually has a universal soul on him. Did he break through his shackles? No, that's not right. The shackled seal is still there. All right then. I can't let him be threatened again. I need to use the universal soul to break through another layer. Long Fei said, "Universal soul, open for me." Chapter 2373. Can't control myself. Chapter 2373. Can't control myself. Long Fei didn't have a choice. The universal soul was his last trump card. This was a one-time trump card. Once it was used, it would be gone. In this life or death situation, Long Fei did not hesitate in the slightest. If Invincible was the black-haired zombie's weakness, then he could only do this. Rumble, rumble, rumble. An explosion sounded in the air, and with Long Fei at the center, A strong aura of power continuously revolved outwards. The ground was also shaking violently. 9 heavens, the netherworld, they all felt the surging universal soul. Even the central universal realm of the universal large world felt it. Where did this vibration come from? Changes in the world? Or has some super genius descended into the world? That's not right. This seems to be the power of Grand Mist. Grand Mist, the power of the universal realm's Grand Mist. Why would they appear in a remote small plane? God's tribe, shrine. Where did the Grand Mist energy come from? Reporting to Elder, this is a small plane at the edge of the universal large world, called the Zhenwu continent. I don't know why the primordial energy would fluctuate in a secret world on the continent. Zhenwu continent, the shrine main hall was silent for half a minute. And then, the Elder suddenly knelt down on one knee and stared at the divine throne. A few seconds later, the Elder said, slightly, "The Emperor Xian has ordered us to send people to investigate. If a genius descended, we will bring him back to the universal realm and train him a lot. We will have him serve the God's tribe and contribute to its peace and stability." A golden armored guard hugged his hands. "As you command, ancient world." Within the primal chaos region, a towering pillar began to faintly tremble. The stone pillar rose into the clouds, high and unreachable. No one knew how high it was. The instant universal soul was released. As if it had sensed something, some of the stone pillars began to slowly peel off, and cracks began to appear on them. In the endless primal chaos domain, a simple and honest voice sounded out. "Boss, is it you? Have you finally entered the universal large world?" Boom, boom, boom. Within the chaos region, thunder rumbled. Monsters as large as the heavens and the earth rushed towards the stone pillars, tearing the world asunder. And the stone pillar was extremely calm. It was as if he did not put these heaven and earth-tearing demon beasts in his eyes at all. "Come, my experiential learning time is 10 more years." A voice resounded in the air. The stone pillar tightened as it allowed the demon beastess that could split the heaven and earth to attack. Dragon Abyss Dungeon. Long Zhanting also suddenly raised his head to look at the sky, his eyes flashing with light. Xiao Fei. Moreover, at this moment, he also felt the voice of the sky, sword spirit. Xiao Fei. Long Zhanting was once again heavily injured, and the tears in the corner of his eyes uncontrollably flowed out. The universal soul was not solely related to the power of the universal realm. It was the first power that the ancient world produced, so it could be said that the existence of this universal soul was incomparably strong. Even the powerhouse of God's tribe, those ancient families who inherited the power of the ancient world, also could not control the universal soul. This aura was uncontrollable even by the Emperor Xian. However, every single wisp of universal soul would cause a disturbance. Perhaps it was due to the upheavals in the world, or the appearance of a heavenly spirit treasure, or the descent of a certain peerless genius. Anything that could cause the universal soul to move was an extraordinary person, something extraordinary. Once, Destiny God was almost killed by Long Fei. This caused Universal Realm to be slightly startled, and allowed him to send out the Powerhouse S to investigate. This time, the Universal Soul was once again released by Long Fei. The entire Xianyu mountain range was trembling violently, as if there was a huge earthquake occurring over a dozen levels high. It was as if the world was coming to an end, and it was extremely valiant. Even Zhao and Zhou families were shocked. Where is it? Xianyu Sect's Xianyu mountain range. Is it really that thing? Does Xianyu Sect really have something that can compare to a primordial holy artifact? The envoy of the God's tribe really did not lie to us. Zhao Wuji was excited. An elder asked, "Your Majesty, what should we do now?" The corner of Zhao Wuji's mouth slightly curled as he coldly laughed. The Xianyu sect is also a sect within the borders of my Zhaogua. Everything within the territory of my Zhaogua belongs to my Zhao family. This matter, Zhao Wuji laughed. There's no need to be anxious. We'll be in the God's sect gathering soon. At that time, I'll have the higher personally ask Yurong for it, so that he can establish his might in the gods' sect gathering. At the Zhou mansion, Zhou Yaozong anxiously walked back and forth in the Great Hall. Still not back yet? None of the warrior-s from over 1,000 war beast regiment s have returned. Zhou Yaozong was very confused. He was also a little regretful right now, because he did not go in person. General, rest assured, General Lin is very reliable, and dealing with a few Xianyu sect disciples shouldn't be a problem. A warrior said. Zhou Yaozong shook his head. No, I'm afraid Lin Tianshou is no longer in this world. Pass my orders. Zhou Yaozong could not wait any longer, and said, Send troops to the Xianyu sect S. The warrior was startled, and immediately replied, Understood. Without waiting for the warrior to leave the Great Hall, Zhou Yaozong immediately stopped him and said, Wait. He locked onto the space between his eyebrows. If he sent out his troops, he would expose himself. Zhou Yaozong slightly said, The Zhao family is too strong. I have to be careful with every step. Pass my orders. Have Devil Sect's Zhou Zhan and the others return to participate in this time's God's sect gathering. If they really are divine weapons, then Xianyu sect will definitely bring them to God's sect gathering. Because Xianyu sect cannot afford to lose. To them, they did not know that this was caused by the universal soul. However, this caused the Zhao clan to be completely convinced. Xianyu sect definitely has a great treasure. If Zhou Yaozong could obtain it, then he could very well become the ruler of 9 or 5 nations, and Zhaogua would become the world of his great Zhou empire. If the Zhao family obtained it, they would be even more powerful. This was perhaps Zhou Yaozong's only hope. Inside the secret world, Long Fei was completely unable to control himself. The power of the universal soul was too strong, so strong that he could not control it, and was constantly leaking out. At the same time as the universal soul leaked, the sky's sword was crazily absorbing it. The second taboo was about to be broken. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei panted heavily. His body seemed to be expanding and growing larger. It was a powerful force. Buzz. The pressure of the universal soul was released, and the black-haired zombie smashed down from the sky. Its entire body sprawled on the ground, and it could not even raise its head. F*CK. Die! Long Fei roared and threw out a punch. The 1 million HP on top of the black-haired zombie's head swished and turned into 0. One punch. It was a very ordinary punch. Instant kill. The system also chimed in. Ding. Chapter 2374. The Danger of the Second Level. Chapter 2374. The Danger of the Second Level. 1 punch. 1 kill. There was really no way to resist at all. The 1 million HP was instantly gone, and the black-haired zombie's body was completely blasted away. A group of people suddenly appeared. The system also beeped out a pleasant tone. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting 60 million experience points for killing black-haired zombie, 100,000 true chi points, and 10 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining zombie core. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining black spirit holy body. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the devouring spirit bead. A series of notifications sounded. The things that he had dropped were all good stuff, especially the zombie orb and the black spirit holy body, which were both divine level treasures. Long Fei was secretly excited. However, right now, his excitement was not from the item he dropped, but from the power the universal soul had exploded out. So fierce, too fierce. Long Fei was shocked. The state he was in earlier was like he could destroy the heavens. The power was too exciting. An invincible power. When will I be able to cultivate this power that belongs to me? Long Fei began to yearn for the universal soul. The power of it made his blood boil. The feeling of being unable to control oneself and shattering the void with one fist was too refreshing. Actually, Long Fei still did not know what the universal soul was. He did not know how much of a commotion he had caused with that one punch, and even the universal realm was shaken. It even shocked the gods' tribe-s of the gods' tribe-s. Boss, just now, what was that power of yours? Thin Monkey crawled up from the ground and stared at Long Fei in shock. It was too terrifying. The big guy was also very excited. Just as Long Fei wanted to say something, he immediately thought of Xiao Dai and Eorong, who had entered the stone door, and immediately said, "Let's talk about this later." Long Fei quickly turned and rushed into the stone door. "Transformers, big guy, Thin Monkey, you guys wait here. In order to prevent anyone from entering the War Beast Regiment, you guys block the entrance." After he finished speaking, Long Fei rushed into the stone door. Only one black-hair zombie rushed out. Was there more inside? Long Fei didn't know. If there was one more, they would all die here. The moment he rushed into the stone door, Long Fei immediately shouted, "Sister Xiao Dai, you roam." The voice was empty. Moreover, there was only a long corridor, and the two sides of the corridor were filled with endless darkness, as if it was an abyss. There was no response. Long Fei increased his speed and ran deeper into the corridor. "Sister Xiao Dai, Eorong." He shouted a few more times, but there was still no response from the girls. Long Fei was secretly worried in his heart. If something were to happen to them, he really would not forgive himself. Long Fei made Xiao Dai open the stone door. Eorong was the one who let her in. Thinking of this, Long Fei became even more worried. He continued to run out like a madman. Half an hour later, Long Fei's eyes suddenly trembled as he looked at the two people who stood at the end of the corridor. The two of them looked up at the sky and didn't move an inch. They were Eorong and Xiao Dai. Long Fei's heart relaxed. He immediately walked forward and said, "You scared me to death." The two of them still did not speak. Long Fei walked behind them and asked, "What are you looking at?" It was very strange. Long Fei walked to their side and looked at them. Then suddenly, his divine sense suddenly moved and began to tremble. A surge of powerful, manipulating force instantly entered his mind, just like the Beast Mastery. However, the Beast Mastery was used to subdue Demon Beast, but the power just now was used to control humans. Long Fei's pupils suddenly tensed up. He wanted to avoid the gaze, but he wasn't in a hurry. He instantly entered his sea of consciousness and made a sudden control. In the next second, just like Eorong, both stood there motionlessly as though they were puppets. Consciousness. It was gone in an instant. His eyes were empty. His expression was stiff. Suddenly, Long Fei felt as if he had lost himself. However, the burning pain on Long Fei's left arm grew even more intense. Buzz! The skin on his left arm looked as if it was being torn apart. A powerful super force of Ming Clan burst out, striking directly at the incoming sword attack. He didn't wait for the force to approach. An astonished voice came from the darkness. "Super force of Ming Clan? A high-rank mark of the Ming Clan? Who is this guy? Could it be another branch of the Ming Clan? Wait, why is there Ming Yu's aura in his body? Ming Yu's reincarnation? Impossible. He was not dead in the first place, so the divine object born from ancient times would have an endless lifespan. He could not possibly be one. But why is there Ming Yu's aura on his body? Could it be, did this brat devour Ming Yu? Impossible. Ming Yu is too strong. Even Pluto did not tame him back then. What else in the world could have devoured him? Confusion sounded continuously in the air. However, the instant the super force of Ming Clan exploded from Long Fei's left arm, a stream of energy pressed down from the sky. It was also the super force of Ming Clan. Moreover, it was much stronger than the super force of Ming Clan that was being released from Long Fei's left arm. In the blink of an eye, it was crushed to smithereens. In addition, the Ming Clan imprint on Long Fei's left arm suddenly cracked. He was completely unable to bear the bombardment of the super force of Ming Clan, and the burning sensation under his arm instantly disappeared. It was as if Long Fei's Ming Clan imprint had been shattered. Humph! Super force of Ming Clan? Why don't you look at who is in front of you? The voice in the air was filled with contempt and was extremely disdainful. The super force of Ming Clan that Long Fei had exploded with was extremely strong. However, In front of him, he was like an ant. Beneath the skin, Long Fei's Ming clan imprint was severely injured and immediately quieted down, unable to release any of its power anymore. At this time, the dragon-shaped mark under Long Fei's right arm flashed with a trace of light. A dragon, an incomparably ferocious dragon. He flipped it around in his imprint. This power, even the person in the darkness could not sense it. Mingyu, if it's really Mingyu, then the power of his spring of life is mine. Let me see what is hidden on this boy's body. In the darkness, an eerie voice rang out as a wave of power slowly pressed down. It was as if a ball of mist had surrounded Long Fei. Buzz! A humming sound could be heard. The sky sword in Long Fei's hands lost control and directly flew out. Sword intent raged. It instantly occupied the entire space. Another surprised voice sounded from the sky. Sky sword? Why are we here? Not waiting for him to finish. The sky sword moved, and the sword spirit rushed out. With a powerful slash, the sword intent that filled the sky formed a gigantic sword chi. Slashing at the air, Long Fei's right arm moved in that instant. Boom! It also instantly poured in. Buzz! Chapter 2375, Level 4. Chapter 2375, Level for the Sword Spirit, slash down. Descend. The void and darkness vanished. All of his power vanished in an instant. The bodies of Long Fei, Xiao Dai, and Yi Yurong instantly collapsed as well, and they fainted on the ground. I heard about it. A system announcement rang out in Long Fei's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for obtaining 600,000 experience while killing mysterious object. The true chi is worth 100,000 points. Arrogant god energy value is worth 0. Other than this, there was no other sound. None of the treasures dropped. However, with 60 million experience points, the system once again sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Essence Condensation Level 2. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Essence Condensation Level 3. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Essence Condensation, 5th stage. He instantly leveled up by 4 levels. And Long Fei did not even know about all this. With his consciousness controlled, even though he had leveled up, he wasn't able to recover instantly. He felt his body relax a little bit. In his daze, he saw a peerlessly beautiful woman who looked like a spirit body looking at him from the sky. Big sister goddess? And then, his consciousness went still again. Sky Sword Spirit looked at Long Fei and muttered, "What a powerful strength." She could clearly feel it, even though it was only a tiny bit, but instant kill. If not for the power emitted by the dragon-shaped mark, she wasn't sure if this strike would be able to kill her. After all, that mysterious figure just now was too powerful. Furthermore, with the inheritance of the powerful ancient world, it was very likely to be the clone of the ancient world. Sky Sword Spirit looked around, feeling strange in his heart. Why would there be ancient world-s at the inheritance level in this place? Isn't it true that the powerhouse S who received the ancient world's inheritance are all in the universal realm? The level of the Zhenwu continent S was too low. Inheritance-leveled powerhouse S were completely useless here. It would only waste his time here. This was the reason why the Sky Sword Spirit could not understand. Looking at the runes on the wall, Sky Sword Spirit muttered, "All of these are the words of the Ming clan." She looked at the slightly open stone door at the end of the corridor and thought, could it be? Is it really the tomb of the Ming clan's war god, Ming Long? Netherworm. He was once the #1 powerhouse on the Grand Mist ranking, and was once the first war god of the universal realm. If it's his grave, then... Sky Sword Spirit looked at Long Fei. She was also slightly excited in her heart. The #1 war god of the primordial era, even if only his corpse was left, if he could make good use of it, it would definitely be able to greatly increase her cultivation. Perhaps he would be able to break through the seal in her body and recover to the peak of his cultivation. The Sky Sword spirit also required cultivation. She was the same as the ordinary warriors, eager to become stronger. The tomb of the first god of war. It was too tempting. Even she couldn't resist it. The Sky Sword spirit moved slightly. Wong. Wong. He landed at the foot of the stone steps. There was no sound coming from the inside, and there was no sense of danger. Do you want to go in? Sky Sword Spirit wanted to see what was happening inside through the crack in the stone door. Enter, not going in. The first war, god of grand mist. If it really is the burial ground of the nether dragon's body, then if I can swallow this power, then the seal of my body will be able to break through. When the time comes, I will know everything, and I can also better protect him. So, the heart of the Sky Sword Spirit had already wavered. Enter. The Sky Sword Spirit moved slightly. She wanted to become strong, wanted to break through the seal in her body. In that instant, buzz, the Sky Sword Spirit flew into the stone door. The moment she entered, the stone door suddenly slammed shut. Everything quieted down again. The current Sky Sword had already broken through the second stage after Long Fei unleashed his universal soul earlier, and her strength had become even stronger. However, there were still 7 layers of taboos on her body. He had to break through the 7th layer in order to recover his full strength. Breaking through the 2nd layer of the forbidden technique was already quite powerful. Boom! With a loud bang, the stone door opened wide, and Sky Sword Spirit flew out. Fresh blood sprayed out wildly, and her face was extremely pale as she flew out from the stone door, colliding against the stone wall several thousand meters away. Poochie! He spat out a mouthful of blood. The Sky Sword also moved and instantly floated beside the Sword Spirit. The Sword Spirit immediately entered the Sky Sword. In just a few seconds, what happened inside? Sky Sword is a divine sword birthed by the ancient world, an existence at 3rd place on the primordial divine weapon ranking. But a few seconds, and he was heavily injured, and he instantly hid within the Sky Sword. How strong was the monster inside? An unimaginable existence. She didn't even see what the monster inside was. After entering, her cultivation was immediately suppressed by a powerful force. This power was the power of the ancient inheritance. Without giving her any time to consider, he attacked immediately. She only managed to withstand 2 strikes. The 3rd move was immediately thrown out. Heavily wounded. Clang! The Sky Sword fell down. The stone door slowly closed, leaving a small gap, as if nothing had happened just now. 2 hours later. Ugh! Long Fei's eyelids twitched. He forced it open and exhaled deeply. He then touched his crotch and heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, second brother is still here. And then, Long Fei crawled up, and a woman lying on the side immediately came forward and shook him and said, "Sister Xiao Dai, Yurong, wake up." The two of them had painful expressions on their faces, as if they were unwilling to be woken up from a dream. After the two of them woke up, Yurong was immediately shocked and asked, "Where are we? Xiao Dai, what did you see?" Just like Long Fei, she couldn't wake up no matter how hard she tried when she saw Xiao Dai's blank stare. When she tried to go up, her consciousness was immediately controlled. No memory at all. Xiao Dai shook his head and said, I do not know Along. Do you know what's going on?" The goddess's sister's spirit body appeared in Long Fei's mind, and he muttered, "I don't know either. I saw the two of you standing there motionlessly. I also walked up, and then suddenly lost consciousness." "Who saved us?" Yurong asked. Long Fei shook his head. At this moment, his heart skipped a beat. "Huh, I leveled up, and it was 4 levels consecutively. What's going on? Could it be, did I just kill a super big boss? Was it killed in a dream? Or should I say?" Long Fei thought of that immortal elder sister and asked, "Was that immortal sister the one who helped me kill him?" Looking at Long Fei's dazed expression, Xiao Dai could not help but ask, "Along, what are you thinking about?" Long Fei came back to reality and said, "Nothing." Yurong looked at the stone door in front of the hallway and muttered, "Should we go in?" Chapter 2376, Royal Alchemist. Chapter 2376, Royal Alchemist in the Secret World Below the Main Hall. Yurong wanted to enter right away, because she wanted to find out whether or not this was the Lord Minglong's tomb. Long Fei also looked at the half-open stone door. Inside the stone door, it was as if there was a voice that was continuously luring him inside. "Young man, come in. Little handsome brother, come on. Come on. There's anything in it you want. Come on in and play." Xiao Dai was also staring at the scene in a daze. Yurong swallowed his saliva, slowly walked forward, and said, "Let's go in and take a look. We'll take a look and then leave." If it really was the necropolis of the Netherworm, then she would be free. Because the Ming clan no longer needed her, and she could live the life she wanted. She no longer had a mission, and she no longer had any responsibilities. She could marry. Everything was free. Yurong really wanted to free himself. She walked forward step by step, and just as she was about to reach the top of the stairs, her eyes lit up as she muttered, "As long as it is the necropolis of the Netherworm, I will be free." The moment she stepped onto the stairs, Long Fei ran forward and grabbed her hand. "You can't enter." Yurong was pulled down by Long Fei and asked, "Why can't I enter?" Long Fei said, "If I say you can't enter, then you can't." It was not because of anything else, but because the stone door was constantly enticing him. The more he explained, the more dangerous it was for him to not enter. Moreover, Long Fei was sure now that the danger zone was not the tomb of the primordial first god of War Minglong. It was definitely a trap. Yurong said, "What if it really is the Lord Minglong's tomb? Do you know what that means?" Long Fei replied, "I don't know. I only know that you can't enter." Yurong was struggling as he said, "It means that I no longer have to carry the mission of rising to prominence in the Ming clan. I no longer have to dedicate myself to the rise of the Ming clan. I can marry. I can be taught by a couple." When she said that last sentence, Yurong looked at Long Fei. She almost said, "I can marry you." She hated that she was someone from the Ming clan. He hated the gifted soul of underworld on his body. No one knew how much she envied being an ordinary girl. Long Fei looked at the stone door and then hugged Yurong tightly in his embrace. "No one can force you to do anything you don't want to. Because you are my woman." Yurong's heart suddenly melted. He laid on Long Fei's shoulder and started a bawl. Xiao Dai regained her senses and tears started streaming down her face. It was also at this time, Long Fei said in a low voice, "I promise you, I will definitely bring you in to take a look, but it's definitely not right now." He had to become stronger. He became incomparably powerful. Otherwise, how could they deal with the monsters inside if they couldn't even deal with a single black hair zombie? According to the design of the game, the first and second level bosses were usually smaller. The last level bosses were much stronger. What was behind the stone door? Long Fei didn't even need to think to know that this was definitely an extremely powerful boss. Even a mutated black hair zombie required him to use the universal soul to save his life. So before he was completely confident, Long Fei didn't want to die. However, he would definitely come, because he would definitely kill this boss. A few minutes later, Long Fei picked up the sky sword, feeling puzzled in his heart. How did my sword fall so far? Furthermore, why is there blood on the sword? Not only that, he felt that the sky sword seemed to be injured. He felt that something was very wrong, but he didn't know what was wrong. Returning the sword to its sheath, Long Fei walked out with Yurong and Xiao Dai. Thin Monkey and the big-sized man had recovered a lot after consuming the pills, while Silver Warbear and One-Eyed Tiger had recovered quite a bit too. They saw Long Fei walking out. The two men immediately walked up to him and said, "Boss, you've finally figured it out. You've caused us both to die from anxiety." Long Fei said indifferently, "The people from War Beast Regiment did not charge forward, right?" The Thin Monkey said, "No, there are no people from War Beast Regiment in the valley either. When Transformers went out to check, he found that there are no more Zhou's army around. Other than the more than 1,000 people that had rushed into the secret world, there were still many people at the edges of the valley. Suddenly, all of them retreated. Could it be that Zhou Yaozong gave up? Impossible. Zhou Yaozong's ambition was enormous. so he definitely would not give up. However, Long Fei did not think too much into it at the moment, and said, "Since the troops have retreated, let us return to the Xianyu sect." Thin Monkey immediately replied, "All right." Eorong said, "Aren't we going to the Spirit Medicine Valley to collect spirit grass?" The spirit grass that they had collected on their way here had all been refined by Long Fei. One must know that there were still a few more days until the Xianyu sect gave out an exception, and that was when thousands of medicinal pellets would be issued. Without spirit grass, how could he refine it? Just those weeds? The success rate was too low, and it was not because of the strong effects of the elixir. In order to obtain alchemy, one had to use a spirit grass. Long Fei shook his head and said, "I'll head back to the Xianyu sect." Xiao Dai said, "Along." Then about the monthly arrangements. Long Fei laughed and said, "Don't worry, I have a way." Actually, Long Fei was not confident. He was just worried that Zhou Yaozong would still cause trouble. It was too dangerous in Xianyu mountain range. If not for the fact that they relied on Secret World's natural terrain advantage, they would definitely be dead this time. If the Zhou's army from the mountains appeared again, or if the experts from the Zhao family appeared, they would all have to answer to him here. Then again, what's the situation with the Xianyu sect? Return to the Xianyu sect first. Even if he could not concoct the spirit pellet and could not submit a monthly rule, Long Fei would still be punished. Thin Monkey was injured, the big guy was injured. Eorong was also injured. He couldn't delay any longer and had to hurry back to the sect. At least, even if something were to happen in the Xianyu sect, there was still a powerhouse with the Zhenwu realm on his side. 3 days later, Xianyu sect. Nothing happened along the way. Zhou's army also did not appear again. Returning to Xianyu sect, Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief. "Yo, isn't this the great elder of the Pill Pavilion? Finally back. I thought I escaped from Xianyu sect. First elder, how are you preparing for the monthly pills? I heard that if you are unable to hand over the spirit medicine the entire sect is cultivating with, you will have to expel the Xianyu sect." He disappeared for more than 10 days. I don't think he can take out any spiritual medicines at all. Just wait and expel him from Xianyu sect. On the way, there were people who were constantly laughing at him. When Yuan Shan received the news that Long Fei had returned to the sect, he immediately ran over. Long Fei said, "Elder Yu, didn't you say that it's not even been a month since you were banned? Why have you left the treasure refining pavilion?" Yuan Shan's brows tightened and said, "You still have the heart to joke around. If you are unable to refine the pellets the disciples of the entire sect cultivate, you will be expelled from the Xianyu sect." Also, Long Fei said, "And what?" Yuan Shan said, "Moreover, Xianyu sect has arrived. He is here to replace you as the great elder of the Pill Pavilion." Chapter 2377. Long Fei, don't be so presumptuous. Chapter 2377. Long Fei, don't be so presumptuous. After Zhou Yuan and the others notified the Zhou family of the southern county, they also casually informed the Zhao family. Knowing the unforeseen event in the Xianyu sect and Zhao Etian's situation, the queen of Zhao flew into a rage and immediately attacked the Xianyu sect. Coincidentally, the violent tremors in the Xianyu mountain range caught Zhao Wuji's attention. His mission as the envoy of the God's tribe did not deceive him. The Xianyu sect did indeed have a great treasure in his hands, and it was very powerful. He was originally going to make a move against Xianyu sect, but he resisted it for a moment. Wait until the God's sect gathering. However, after all, Zhao Etian was his son. Furthermore, his eldest son Zhao Haoyan's life force had been crippled, and his Zhao family's fire of incense had been threatened. Zhao Wuji did not stand by and watch, but sent his royal alchemist. Of course, all of this was aimed at Long Fei, because all of this was caused by Long Fei. Royal alchemist. Thin Monkey was surprised for a moment, and then said in astonishment, "Isn't that very strong?" Yuan Shan said, "More than that? He is not an ordinary alchemy master. He cultivates the imperial qi of the Zhao family, and his cultivation has reached a terrifying realm of spirit refinement." "Right, Long Fei. Did you go out to collect spirit grass this time? How was the collection going? Yuan Shan was very worried. Royal Alchemist had an extraordinary background. He had only been in the Xianyu sect for less than 2 hours, yet he had already subdued all the elders and disciples in the Pill Pavilion. Right now, everyone in the Xianyu sect wished for Long Fei to be expelled from the Xianyu sect, because taking the pills refined by the Royal Alchemist was a symbol of his identity, so the pills he refined would definitely be even more powerful. Long Fei shook his head and said, "Not a single spirit grass could be found." "What?" Yuan Shan stared at Long Fei in shock and said, "One? A stalk? Not even spirit grass? Then what have you been doing all this time?" There were only 4 days left before the distribution date. The entire sect had thousands of pills. Even without food or water, 4 days and 4 nights wouldn't be enough time to refine that many pills. And now, there aren't even any spirit grasses. We're finished, we're really done for this time. Yuan Shan was an impatient person. Anxiety was written all over his face. Yirong also frowned and said, "I'm going to the spiritual medicine valley to gather spirit grass." Long Fei said, "No need, there's no time. Even if you collect the spirit grass, it will be useless. It would take a few days to make a trip to the depths of Xianyu mountain range." It was already too late. Yirong said, "But without spirit grass, how would you refine it? If you get expelled from Xianyu's sect, what about me?" Thin Monkey replied, "Yes, boss." The big size guy said, "Boss, you can't be kicked out of Xianyu's sect." Xiao Dai said angrily, "My father is now the acting sect master. I'll go tell him. If he dares to expel you from the Xianyu sect, I won't care about him anymore." Yuan Shan said, "It's useless. That royal alchemist was the one who forced the sect master to do this. He has no other choice. Even if he doesn't expel you from the Xianyu sect, I'm afraid none of the disciples in Xianyu sect can tolerate you." This was what Yuan Shan was worried about. The royal alchemist stood guard in the pill pavilion. That disciple didn't want the pill that he refined. Even if Long Fei was a 9th-ranked alchemy master, so what? No cards at all. Long Fei never thought that a royal alchemist would suddenly appear, and said lightly, "We'll talk after going to the pill pavilion." Huh? Yuan Shan was startled. He wanted to say something, but when he reacted, Long Fei had already walked far away. Crap! Yuan Shan's heart tensed up, and he shouted loudly, "Long Fei, don't go to the pill pavilion, don't go." He also chased after her in a hurry. What kind of grass can have alchemy? Bullshit. What elixir's fragrance can't spread out? This is bullshit too. They're all bullshit. They don't even know bullshit. And this kind of person knows alchemy? Laughable. Extremely ridiculous. A white-haired old man held the Buddhist dust in his hand, his eyes filled with disdain. He was dressed in luxurious clothes. The aura he gave off was that of an emperor's. His aura was extraordinary. It gave people a feeling of incomparable power. Alchemy, far away. The white-haired old man was extremely disdainful as he started to curse. "Master is right. I also said that brat didn't even know alchemy and relied on luck to refine a few pills before raising his tail to the sky. What does he count as? We refined more spirit grass than he did. Yet you want to teach us a lesson? Is he even worthy of it?" Exactly. It's very likely that he was the one who cheated during the pill bet last time. I just don't believe that he could win against the Elder, no matter what. There are still 4 days. If he is unable to complete the monthly mission given to him by the Xianyu sect, he will be expelled from the Xianyu sect. Many of the elders in the alchemy courtyard spoke out. They were still full of hatred towards Long Fei. It was not only because of Yi Changfeng, but also because Long Fei had told them that their several decades of experience in alchemy were worthless. The white-haired old man said slightly, "For a tumor in the alchemy realm, expelling such a person from a sect is considered light." There was another person standing beside him, Zhao Yiqian. Zhao Yiqian laughed coldly and said respectfully, "Elder Kong, expelling him from the sect is letting him off easily. If you want me to say so, I will kill him immediately." The old man smiled and said, "Your Highness, don't worry. Your mother has made sufficient preparations. Those who dare to go against the Zhao family will not have a good ending. Not waiting for him to finish, Thin Monkey shouted, "Who hasn't met a good end?" Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk. Everyone in Alchemy Courtyard turned to look at the door. The Thin Monkey and the big-sized man stood at the entrance. Long Fei walked into the distance and laughed. "So many people. Are they welcoming me back?" Zhao Yiqian immediately whispered into the white-haired old man's ears. "Elder Kong, he is Long Fei." The white-haired old man frowned. His pair of deep eyes immediately locked on a Long Fei. The corner of his mouth revealed a cold and disdainful sneer, and he muttered, "I had thought that it was some kind of expert, but it's just a wet behind-the-ears brat." He started alchemy from the age of 15. Now he was 90 years old and had been researching alchemy for 75 whole years. He would use the pill to step into the Tao, breaking through to the spirit refinement realm through the path of alchemy. He knew very well, alchemy, different from training, it didn't rely on luck. It relied on the experience gained from walking step by step. It relied on the accumulation of time. What use was a teenage brat like this supposed to be? It was extremely disdainful. The white-haired old man looked at Long Fei, who was also looking at him. The corners of his mouth curled up as he smiled. "Yo, has the Pill Pavilion recruited a new disciple? An old man? Old man, do you want to learn alchemy as well? It's always a little old. What's the matter with one sentence? When you are old and learned, I admire you for your studious spirit. Today, I will make an exception and accept you as my disciple." It was also at this time. The Pill Pavilion elder suddenly stood up and shouted, "Long Fei, don't be so presumptuous." Chapter 2378, Arrogant on this father's territory? Chapter 2378, Arrogant on this father's territory? All of them were infuriated. All of them stared deadly at Long Fei. It was as if Long Fei was their archenemy. In these few days, because of the white-haired elder's teachings, they had a new understanding of the alchemy technique. There were even a few people who had broken through their realms. They held great respect for the white-haired old man. Furthermore, how could they allow Long Fei to humiliate them? Yurong also looked at Long Fei and said in a low voice, "He should be Royal Alchemist Kong Dowling." She was reminding Long Fei. Let Long Fei pay attention to a few words. His words just now had greatly offended this high and mighty royal alchemist. Long Fei acted as if he did not hear it, and stared at the furious clan elder and said, "What's wrong? He's your father? How dare you?" The old elder roared again. Long Fei glared and said, "You are the one who is presumptuous to actually dare to speak to me in such a manner. Do you still remember my identity?" The elder's eyes narrowed. Indeed, he had forgotten, of course. The entire Pill Pavilion did not place Long Fei, the great clan elder, in their eyes. Naturally, no one remembered his identity. Such authority, Kong Dowling said indifferently. Long Fei also said lightly, "What? Do you have any objections? Do you believe that I won't take you in as my disciple? Before I change my mind, you should hurry up and pay respects. Don't be so long-winded. Just kneel down and say whatever you want." Long Fei put on a very casual look. To have Royal Alchemist take him as his master? Moreover, or kneel and kowtow. This is courting death. Let alone Long Fei. Even the current Emperor Zhao Wuji did not dare to be too rude to him. Immediately, Kong Dowling's eyes darkened. A bright light burst out from his eyes. The light carried a strong sense of majesty. The imposing aura became even denser and directly smashed towards Long Fei. Boom! Boom! The air rumbled as a ferocious beast pounced over. Zhao Yiqian smiled as he thought in his heart, "Long Fei, let's see if you'll die or not this time." The pressure of the spirit refinement realm, with the addition of Emperor's Qi, very fierce, let alone the power of the Emperor's Qi. Even Long Fei could not withstand the pressure of a spirit refinement realm cultivator. However, at this moment, roar! With a roar, Transformers suddenly rushed out from within the Warpet space. The armor on his body moved, his four limbs supporting the ground. He opened his mouth and roared fiercely. Roar. The sound wave was like a wave as it heavily rolled out. Buzz. Rumble, 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 rumble. With a violent rumble, he forcefully blocked the attack. When it collided with the pressure of the spirit refinement realm, the pressure instantly shattered. The strong sound wave continued to strengthen and directly smashed in front of Kong Dowling, not waiting for him to stand up. Transformers used his strength again. Boom! The chairs and people were immediately thrown away. Kong Dowling somersaulted a few times and fell down like a dog eating shit. His mouth was filled with mud, and he was in an extremely sorry state. It was also at this time, Transformers slightly loosened up. She quietly stood by Long Fei's side, not moving at all. His gaze, was fixated on Kong Dowling, who was on the ground. The pressure exuded by a peak level 9 demon beast was not something that a person who only cultivated in the way of alchemy could withstand. Moreover, after taking Long Fei's pills and Spirit Beast pills during this period of time, Transformers' cultivation had increased to a new level and he was on the verge of breaking through. It was only one step away from an Earth-rank demon beast. Originally, Long Fei wanted to have Transformers cultivate in the Xianyu mountain range. However, the Transformers felt that he would not be able to break through inside the Xianyu mountain range and thus wanted to enter the human world to train before Long Fei brought him out. At the same time, he also gave the silver war bear to the big guy. The one-eyed tiger was given to the thin monkey. As for Xiao Dai, all of these things weren't suitable for her, and Long Fei was also thinking of a way to make her feel more like a bird-type demon beast. What does that sound? Demon beast. The roar of the great demon beast. Is there any demon beast attacking Xinyu sect? I didn't hear the bell. It's the Pill Pavilion. Hurry and support them. The voice of the Transformers was too powerful, causing the entire Xianyu sect to be shocked. Many elders and disciples rushed towards the Pill Pavilion peak. Yu Wanshan ran into the alchemy courtyard. Looking at the mighty Transformers, he exclaimed in his heart, "Good boy." Seeing Kong Dowling, who had fallen flat on the ground, not daring to crawl back up, his face sank again. Crap, this time is really bad. Quickly running forward, he supported Kong Dowling up and said, "Elder Kong, I'm sorry. He just came back and still doesn't know your identity." Kong Dowling's face was extremely ugly. He stared straight at Long Fei and bellowed, "Do you know who I am?" Long Fei shrugged and said, "I don't know why." Yuan Shan was anxious. "Look, he really doesn't know about your identity. Otherwise, he wouldn't dare to be disrespectful to you." Kong Dowling flung his sleeves and directly flung Yuan Shan away. He glared at Long Fei and said, "I am Royal Alchemist Zhao Gua." Long Fei said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" Kong Dowling was so angry that his face was flushed red. He looked at Long Fei's indifferent look and clenched his teeth so hard that they crackled loudly. If not for the Transformers Demon Beast by Long Fei's side, he would have ripped Long Fei apart. "Kneel down and apologize." "What?" Long Fei stuck out his ear and asked. Kong Dowling shouted, "Kneel down and apologize, or else my Xianyu sect will disappear from Zhaogua's sight." "Louder! I didn't hear you." Long Fei continued to pretend to be stupid. "I really didn't hear it." "What did he say?" "You want to kneel down and acknowledge me as your teacher?" "How preposterous!" Kong Dowling was so angry that smoke was about to come out of his head, and he shouted loudly, "Brat, I told you to kneel down and apologize, and not let me make you." Without waiting for Kong Dowling to finish speaking, Long Fei immediately roared in anger, "I'll kneel your ass." In that instant, Transformers, who was standing up, suddenly pressed down with his front limbs. Boom, boom. He directly stood in front of Kong Dowling. Roar. Another roar. Swish. Swish. The gorgeous clothes on Kong Dowling's body directly ripped and flew out. His entire body was smooth, only leaving behind a pair of sexy red underpants with unkempt hair. He was in an extremely sorry state. Long Fei asked once again, "What did you say just now? Do you want to acknowledge me as your teacher?" He was completely stupefied. Why had Kong Dowling been stomped like this before? When had I ever seen such a savage demon beast? He was trembling with fear. Go, 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 Kong Dowling said. 2 attendants stood up to help him. They were about to leave. Long Fei looked at him and said, Did I let you go? Kong Dowling trembled inwardly and said, What else do you want? Long Fei said, Leaving just like that? Do you think that you can come here just because you want to? Can I leave if I want to? Don't you know whose territory this is? This is my territory. Understood. Kong Dowling asked, What do you want? Long Fei said, I don't want to do anything either. I don't know how you came here, but I want to see all of you scram out of the pill pavilion. Remember, it's used to scram. At this moment, Long Fei muttered in his heart, What damned system is this to actually issue such a mission? Chapter 2379, Opening the Chest, Peacock King Egg. Chapter 2379, Opening the Chest, Peacock King Egg. You want to leave after acting cool? Damn it. Is there such a good thing? So what if it was a royal pill refiner? Is there a need for Lousy to use you? Furthermore, Kong Dowling's arrogant expression made Long Fei unhappy. This is the Xianyu sect. Even if you were Zhao Guo's emperor, Zhao Wuji, you have no right to make anyone kneel. A mere royal alchemist could go to the skies? Did you hear that? Get out. Thin Monkey shouted. Kong Dowling said solemnly, Brat, don't go overboard. I am still a royal alchemist. If you dare treat me like this, aren't you afraid that Zhao Guo will flatten your Xinyu sect? Long Fei said, This old man has slapped your royal alchemist's face. What's wrong? You don't like it? You asked for it yourself. Damn it, you came to my territory to seek death. Long Fei said fiercely. Zhao Etian suddenly said, Long Fei, do you want to become enemies with the Zhao family? Long Fei picked his ears and asked, May I ask who you are? Is it an itch? Zhao Etian immediately shrunk. Kong Dowling said, Do you know what you have said? I can let you die 1,000 times. Long Fei said, I don't know, but I know that if you don't get out of here today, I can make sure you die without even leaving anything behind. As soon as Long Fei finished his sentence, Transformers immediately shook and a low roar came out of his throat. Yuan Shan hurriedly said, Long Fei, don't act recklessly. Yirong also whispered, Long Fei, don't be rash. Long Fei didn't care in the slightest and said, Scram or not. Kong Dowling clenched his fists tightly, as though he was biting so hard that his teeth were about to shatter, and was so angry that his entire body was trembling. It looked like a rotten old man who had been sucked dry in a kiln. Scram. If you don't want to piss off, then I'll do it myself. Long Fei glanced at Transformers and said, Transformers, roar. Transformers immediately roared. Kong Dowling stared at Long Fei and said, Kid, remember what you said today, what you did. In a few days, I will make you pay 100-fold. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Gritting his teeth, his body fell to the ground and rolled on the floor. It rolled out in circles. Long Fei grinned. I've heard too much about this, but in the end, the results were even worse. Seeing Kong Dowling go far away, Long Fei breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. System, what kind of aircraft mission would you like to complete? He took over countless missions. The quest of killing monsters, the quest of killing bosses, the quest of finding items, the quest of killing people. However, Long Fei had never met a mission where someone was forced to scram, and it was really rolling on the ground. Moreover, this quest still did not have any levels, and everything was an unknown quest. However, no matter what kind of quest it was, there would always be rewards. Even if it was just a little bit of experience, it would still be worth it. System, is it really just a little bit of experience? Then I'll really be played to death by you. Long Fei complained his heart. To ruthlessly humiliate a royal alchemist at this critical juncture was extremely deadly. If he didn't manage to concoct a few thousand pills, the consequences would be unimaginably tragic. Moreover, the Zhao family would definitely not let him off. The system was sending him to hell. Long Fei had no way of resisting. Even though he knew it was a trap, he still had to jump down, because if he could not complete the mission, he would be demoted and punished. What a scam. After Kong Dowling rolled out of the Pill Pavilion's peak, the system very punctually sounded out, "Ding." Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Mystic Unknown quest. F*CK. Long Fei was about to scold angrily. System F*CKU. Come out for your father. Get yourself some experience points to scam your father. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish cursing, the system sounded out once again. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining mysterious reward. A mystical, glowing box appeared in the system's space. Open the box. A mysterious reward. Long Fei's heart sank, and his hand shook as he said, "The red oil pirate hand. Open." Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Peacock King's Egg. Peacock King's Egg. The Peacock King's Egg. A peacock egg appeared in the box. It looked no different from a normal peacock egg. Long Fei also immediately checked the attributes. Item: Peacock King's Egg. Not hatched. Attribute: unknown grade. Earth class description: unknown. Other than a grade, there was no other description. However, Long Fei looked at its grade and muttered, "The grade of an egg is Earth stage. Then if it hatches, then this guy's level would definitely not be low." The Peacock King. Could it be the Peacock King from the prehistoric era? Perfect. I can leave it for Sister Xiao Dai. Long Fei already had a plan for the Peacock King egg. At this time, Yuan Shan walked over and asked, "Long Fei, what are you doing? How could you humiliate him like that? He's the royal alchemist." Yirong also looked at Long Fei strangely. In her heart, even though Long Fei was easily angered and he was extremely arrogant, he would always stay calm and would never do something like that. But now, she could not understand. If he were to offend the royal alchemist at this critical juncture, and he was unable to complete his monthly mission in 4 days, then Zhao Guo would not have any place to set his feet on the ground after being expelled from Xianyu sect. One had to know that Kong Dowling had come to the Xianyu sect to represent Zhao Guo this time. His identity was not as simple as the royal alchemist. Long Fei felt a pang of unease, but since he had done it, he did not regret it. Moreover, he had obtained the Peacock King's Egg, so he smiled and looked at Yuan Shan. "Elder Yu, I'm asking you a question of satisfaction?" Yuan Shan froze for a moment, then lowered his voice. "Satisfying." These few days, the entire Xianyu sect had almost been made restless by Kong Dowling. He had long been in a bad mood. After being stuck with Long Fei for such a long time, his heart felt extremely good. Yuan Shan said, "It feels good, but he will definitely not let this go. Furthermore, this time, I feel that the Zhao family has not only sent him alchemy master, I suspect that there are people in the dark." At this time, Yirong's gaze tensed up. She immediately thought about the war beast regiment that suddenly appeared from the Zhou household in the valley. If there really was someone who managed to get out of the Black Crow group alive, then she would not be able to hide the assassination attempt on the Crown Prince. Had Zhao Wuji already begun his investigation of Xianyu sect? Yirong's heart sank. It was also at this time that a voice appeared in Yirong's mind. The space between her eyebrows tightened. She quietly withdrew, wanting to report to the Ming clan elder. This time, with Ming Yu gone, she would definitely take all the responsibility. Long Fei said, "I have to take the initiative. Am I afraid of him?" At this moment, a disciple of the Mystic Moon Hall hurriedly came over and said, "Elder Long, Sect Master wants you to go to the Great Hall." In addition, the disciple said in a low voice, "The Sect Master told you to get ready. Kong Dowling is here as well." Long Fei muttered, "Taking revenge so quickly? Or could it be, isn't the lesson just now enough?" Chapter 2380. Competing with one? Chapter 2380. Competing with one? Let's go. To the Mystic Moon Palace. Long Fei roared out, "I want to see what kind of tricks royal alchemists can play. Tell me the truth." Long Fei was not afraid of Kong Dowling at all. Royal alchemist? Bullshit. In front of his powerful alchemy techniques, he could belittle all the alchemy masters on the Zhenwu continent. So what if he had the power of the emperor? He didn't care at all. Long Fei shouted, "But Not many people responded. Only the thin monkey, the big-sized man, and Xiao Dai were there. The elders from the alchemy courtyardists all looked at Long Fei with resentful eyes. They had humiliated their godlike idol, Kong Dowling. The hatred they had for Long Fei grew even more. Long Fei didn't mind at all. Looking at those resentful gazes, he smiled faintly and said, "You don't like me, right? If you're not satisfied, then defeat me. If you can't beat me, then calm down. This is my territory, understand?" Long Fei was filled with disdain. Inwardly, he thought to himself, "I hope the provocation is of some use to you guys." These people's alchemy techniques were too traditional and old-fashioned. The alchemy techniques that hadn't changed for thousands or tens of thousands of years were not meant to change, but instead to improve. Then, Xiao Dai walked over and said, "Along, the sister, he has disappeared." Long Fei was slightly stunned. He did not manage to find a Yurong within the crowd and said, "I understand." He had already guessed in his heart that Yurong had gone to report to the elder. Following that, Long Fei said, "Those who want to go to the Mystic Moon Hall to watch a good show, follow me." He walked down the Pill Pavilion's peak with large strides. A wave of curses came from behind him. "There are still 4 more days. Let's see how long you can continue being so arrogant. You really don't know your limits. Now that you have even offended the royal alchemist, let's see how long you can stay arrogant for. Too savage. Just you wait, there's still 4 days left. When it's time to issue out more pills, I'll see what he'll do. I heard that he doesn't even have a single spirit grass on him and is completely unable to refine pills. With this monthly rule, even if he dies, he wouldn't be able to take out that many spirit pills. I'm just waiting to see him make a fool of himself." Many people were waiting for Long Fei to make a fool of himself. Offending Kong Dowling meant that more and more people wanted to see Long Fei become a joke, and all of them wanted to step on him. Zhao family, royal family. How could he be offended by a kid from the mountains? Profound Moon Grey Hall. His old face was flushed red, and he looked extremely miserable. However, his eyes were burning with anger as he said fiercely, "Sect Master Gay, if you don't give me an explanation today, then don't blame me for being impolite." High up in the main hall, Gue Qingshan looked at Kong Dowling's sorry state, seemingly very calm on the surface. But in his heart he was extremely happy and thought to himself, "An old thing that eats the enemy inside. Why didn't you fall to your death?" Others didn't know. But Gue Qingshan was extremely clear in his heart that the Kong Dowling in front of him was the royal alchemist from the imperial court, and a few ministers in the imperial court were directly poisoned to death by his pills. One of them was a 3-year-old prince. Looking at the enemy in front of him, Gue Qingshan's anger simmered. He was afraid that he wouldn't be able to control himself. "Master Gue!" Kong Dowling shouted loudly. Gue Qingshan forcefully suppressed his anger and said calmly, "Elder Kong, how do you want to punish him?" Kong Dowling said, "Very simple. He told me to scram from the Pill Pavilion summit once. I want him to scram 100 times. Gue Qingshan said this. He is the great elder of the Pill Pavilion. Kong Dowling shouted, "Then I am also from the Royal Alchemist. I represent the Imperial family, and telling me to scram down the Pill Pavilion is not only insulting me, but also insulting the Zhao family. Do you want to become enemies with the Zhao family?" His voice sank. The last sentence was exceptionally powerful, as if a heavy pressure was crushing down on him. While they were talking, Kong Dowling stared deadly at Gue Qingshan. Gue Qingshan was startled and avoided looking at her, although he had changed his appearance now. But if she were to see anything else, the consequences would be unimaginable. Kong Dowling looked at Gue Qingshan and avoided his gaze, thinking that he was afraid. She revealed a proud and cold smile. "I doubt even a small clan leader of Xianyu's sect like you would dare to do that, right?" Gue Qingshan and Yin Xiao said smilingly, I don't dare." Kong Dowling's eyes turned sinister and shouted fiercely, "If you don't dare, then do as I say." Gue Qingshan squinted. At this moment, a voice came from outside the hall. "What are you doing? Is he going to get out from here again?" Before he finished speaking, Long Fei walked into the hall. He cupped his hands together and said, "Greetings, Sect Master." Gui Qingshan said, "Long Fei, did you get Elder Kong to scram down the Pill Pavilion Peak? Do you know his identity as a royal alchemist?" When Kong Dowling saw the anger in Long Fei's eyes grow stronger, he said solemnly, "Little bastard, you've finally appeared." Long Fei immediately laughed out loud and said, "I was just joking. I didn't expect you to scram. Ha ha, this is the first time I've seen someone with a brain like yours." "Right, you are the royal alchemist. It can't be. How could a clan like you think highly of you? Did you use some tricks to get out the back door?" "Don't be angry. I'm talking about taking the back door. Not the back door, but the back door on your ass. You are disrespectful to me. Sorry, I can't stomp you to death." Pucci, the two disciples at the entrance of the Great Hall, could no longer control themselves and started laughing. Smoke rose from the top of Kong Dowling's head as he stared at Long Fei. He wanted to break Long Fei's head and shouted, "How dare you humiliate me like this? Even if Lucien comes out today, I will kill you. Kill me. Wow, I'm so scared." Long Fei pretended to be afraid and said softly, "Transformers, someone wants to kill me." As soon as he finished, boom! Outside the hall, Transformers summoned his spirit power and used both hands to thump his chest, releasing waves of brazen roars. Long Fei's mouth hooked up and said, "Kill me? Come on." Seeing Transformers, Kong Dowling became impotent all of a sudden. It was true that he was at the spirit refinement realm. Logically speaking, a 9th level demon beast should not need to be afraid of a spirit refinement cultivator, but his realm of spirit refinement was the path of alchemy. In terms of value, there was a huge difference in realm of spirit refinement between his and the martial arts training. What he was good at was alchemy. Kong Dowling's gaze turned as he looked at Gui Qingshan and shouted, "Sect Master Gui, is this how your Xianyu sect treats its guests?" Gui Qingshan said, "Elder Kong, this great elder of our Xianyu sect's pill house, is a little unruly. Please do not take him to heart. Go back first. I will properly discipline him." "No way," Kong Dowling shouted. "If you don't punish him today, I will immediately report to the Divine Kingdom and have His Majesty send out the army. At that time, I will see if a little Xianyu sect like you can take it or not." He would use the Zhao family to suppress them. Gui Qingshan looked at Long Fei. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "A match." Chapter 2381, Unrestricted Competition. Chapter 2381, Unrestricted Competition. If you can make a move, then don't make a move. "Let's compete," Long Fei said directly. Kong Dowling looked at Long Fei and asked, "What do you want to compete in?" Long Fei said, "Of course it's something good at fighting. Could it be that I'm going to go through the back door with you? The back door is so loose, I definitely can't compete with you." Cluck, cluck. Kong Dowling clenched his teeth and shouted, "Since you are the great clan elder of the Pill Pavilion, then I will compete in alchemy with you." Long Fei said, "Sure, whatever you're good at is fine. I'm fine with anything." Very arrogant. Kong Dowling revealed a cold and scornful smile and said, "Since it's a competition, then we should have a wager." Long Fei said, "What do you want to bet?" Kong Dowling said, "I'm betting your life." "Another life wager?" Long Fei shook his head and laughed. "You love to gamble your life that much? Is life not worth it?" Kong Dowling said in disdain, "Why not?" Long Fei looked at the system, but the system did not issue any more missions and said, "I will not take your life. How about this? If you lose, you will scram from here all the way down to the Xianyu sect." Wasn't this a life wager? This was his life. Kong Dowling huffed. "Good. However, brat, prepare the coffin." "What am I going to do with the coffin?" "For you?" Long Fei retorted. Kong Dowling laughed in disdain, feeling extremely proud in his heart. "You want to compete in alchemy with me? I will let you know who the real #1 alchemy master is." And then Kong Dowling turned to Gui Qingshan and said, "Sect Master Gui, I want to compete in alchemy with him in front of all the disciples of the Xianyu sect." He wanted to trample Long Fei to death in front of everyone. He wanted to use the alchemy technique to ruthlessly humiliate Long Fei. We have to let him know who the real royal alchemist is. Gui Qingshan hesitated for a moment, looked at Long Fei, and said, Elder Kong, it's just a simple competition. I don't think there's a need to be so grand, right? And it's not good to gamble with your life. It doesn't matter who wins or loses, you will be hurt. When Gui Qingshan was speaking, he had been looking at Long Fei the entire time. The idea moved and said, Boy, Kong Dowling's alchemy technique is not something Yi Changfeng can compare to. Early in the dynasty, Kong Dowling's alchemy technique had already reached the peak of the 9th stage. This was also the reason why. That was why the Zhao family valued him. It had been more than 10 years, but what realm had his current alchemy technique reached? It was hard to imagine. Within Zhaoguo's territory, there might not be anyone from any of the large sects that could defeat him. Long Fei answered, Just because no one wins doesn't mean that I can't win. This person is like a fly flying around in front of me, extremely annoying. Gui Qingshan trembled slightly. Kong Dowling shouted, Sect Master Gay, quickly issue an order. Let the entire sect know about this competition. I want to let him know what alchemy is. Kong Dowling said in disdain. He was extremely confident in his alchemy. With his current attainments in alchemy, other than a few old monsters that could not be found, no one else in Zhaoguo's world had been able to defeat him. Gui Qingshan looked at Long Fei. Long Fei nodded. Gui Qingshan said, Pass my order. Great Elder of the Pill Pavilion is competing with Royal Alchemist Kong Dowling in the Profound Moon Plaza. Kong Dowling added, Alchemy gamble. And then, Kong Dowling strode out of the Profound Moon Hall, walked to Long Fei's side and sneered sinisterly, and said, Brat, just prepare to die. I'll wait for you on the plaza in an hour. Long Fei said, What? What's the competition for alchemy? Kong Dowling said, There are no restrictions. The spirit grass will prepare its own. The pill furnace will prepare its own. Let's see whose pill grade is the best. Finished. Kong Dowling left in large strides, and he was even leaving while laughing maniacally. Ha ha. Gui Qingshan hurriedly walked down and said, Have you thought about it yet? He is the royal alchemist and is already a level 9 alchemy master over 10 years ago. Right now, he is probably at least an earth rank alchemy master. Gui Qingshan knew that Long Fei had very high attainments in alchemy. However, after all, the other party was Kong Dowling, the number 1 alchemy master. It only took a few days to subdue all of the elders in the Pill Pavilion. Long Fei replied, It should be fine. What do you mean by should? Gui Qingshan said worriedly, You are someone who will be participating in the God's Sect gathering. If you lose this time, Kong Dowling would definitely not let you off so easily. There's more. How are your preparations for the monthly elixir pills 4 days from now? This was something else that Gui Qingshan was worried about. Long Fei's personality was too unrestrained and arrogant, causing a lot of people to be unhappy, especially the people from the Pill Pavilion. As long as Long Fei is not able to take out enough spirit pills, I am afraid, even if it was him, he wouldn't be able to protect Long Fei. Long Fei scratched his head and said, Not yet. No. You? Gui Qingshan's brows tightened and said, You, Long Fei, you are now Pill Pavilion's great elder, sect master. He wants you to shoulder the responsibility of Xianyu sect. You can't be such a slob and don't act too arrogantly in front of others. If you overshine us like this, we'll get into trouble. The edge of the blade was too sharp. Arrogant, arrogant. This caused many people in the sect to feel unhappy. If something bad happened, it would result in the wall being pushed down by everyone. Not only that, the Zhao and Zhou families were all staring at the Xianyu sect. If Long Fei continued to be so arrogant, it would bring about more trouble. I see. Gui Qingshan didn't wait for Long Fei to speak and said, I'll apologize to Kong Dowling on your behalf. I'll give you a delay of half a month's time to distribute the monthly rule, and with your speed of alchemy, you should be able to complete the monthly rule mission. Gui Qingshan and Kong Dowling had a deep grudge. But for Long Fei's sake, he could only endure the anger in his heart. Long Fei's talent was extremely high. He did not want Long Fei to die young. Long Fei wanted to refuse. Guo Qingshan immediately said, "It's a deal then." Guo Qingshan immediately gave chase. Long Fei looked at Guo Qingshan, exhaled deeply, and said, "Uncle Guo, he won't agree." "Forget it. I'll go prepare first." Was just worrying about not having the chance to trample him to death, let alone Guo Qingshan begging him for mercy. Even if Lu Xian managed to come out of seclusion, he might not necessarily agree. However, unlimited alchemy. In other words, there were no limitations. Spirit grass could be a low-level spirit grass or a divine-level spirit grass, and their pill furnaces could be iron pots or divine-level pill furnaces. Kong Dowling, Royal Alchemist. The level of alchemy spirit grass he uses is definitely not low. In terms of spirit grasses, he had the absolute advantage. Moreover, Long Fei currently did not even have a single spirit grass. First, think of a way to get into the Pill Pavilion. Pill Pavilion Peak. Spirit Grass Academy. Spirit Grass. No, not even one. Great Clan Elder. Aren't you capable? Aren't you invincible in alchemy? Didn't you use grass to use your alchemy? What spirit grass do you want? You want the spirit grass? Humph. In the next life. Chapter 2382. Goodbye, Long Fei. Chapter 2382. Goodbye, Long Fei. Long Fei was kicked out of the courtyard without even going in through the main entrance of the spirit grasses. Moreover, all the elders of the Pill Pavilion were present, guarding the main gate of the Spirit Grass Academy with all their might. They would definitely not help Long Fei. He wanted to make Long Fei make a fool of himself. What do you mean by that? Could it be that the great clan elder of the Pill Pavilion does not even have the right to use the spirit grass? Thin Monkey said indignantly. The big bloke said indignantly, "Do you really want our boss to lose that much?" The leading elder said, "It's not that we want him to lose, it's that we want him to lose. We can't wait for him to lose, it's just that he's so conceited. What qualifications do you have to poop and pee on our heads? We'll talk about it later. He's the one who stirred up the trouble. Why should we bear the blame together?" Exactly, no spirit grasses. If you're capable, why don't you use your weeds alchemy again? Arrogant in front of us. Have we come across a hard rock? If you have the guts, go and win against Royal Alchemist. Other than the big-sized man, Thin Monkey, and Xiao Dai, no one else stood on Long Fei's side. Long Fei slightly smiled. He did not have any intention and said, "If there's no spirit grass, then there's no spirit grass. Let's go." Xiao Dai said, "Along, if you do not have a high-level spirit grass, how can you compete with that Royal Alchemy Master? He's the Royal Alchemist. The spirit grass he uses must definitely be of a very high level. If you don't have a high-level spirit grass, you will have lost half." Xiao Dai walked forward, looked at the elders of the Pill Pavilion, and said, "Uncles, we are all members of the Xianyu sect. We cannot just watch him lose, right? Why don't you just help him?" Just as Xiao Dai had said, without a high-level spirit grass, Long Fei would lose by half. Anyone who understood the slightest bit of alchemy would know this point. To refine a high-level pellet, a high-level spirit grass was the key. The few elders looked at each other in dismay. Several young elders replied, "If there is nothing, there is nothing. Even if he kneels down and begs us, there is nothing." Thin Monkey was annoyed. "Who do you think you are, please? Why don't you all take a look at yourselves? Let's go." Long Fei glanced at the people from the Pill Pavilion, but he was not angry and did not feel any resentment in his heart. Maybe it was just as Guo Qingshan had said. He was being too flamboyant. Being too arrogant made many people want to embarrass themselves, since everyone wanted to see him embarrassed. How could Long Fei let them do as they pleased? Arrogant was his personality. He walked back to the alchemy courtyard. Thin Monkey said angrily, "What are you talking about? They obviously have spirit grass in their hands, but they don't take it out. It's too much of a bully." The big boss said, "We won't give it to you. Let's go snatch it." When the thin monkey heard this, he immediately shouted, "Snatch!" Long Fei said, "Don't cause any more trouble." Thin monkey said, "Boss, only half an hour is left before an hour has passed. You don't even have a single spirit grass yet. How can we compare?" Xiao Dai slightly said, "I hope that my father can persuade Kong Dowling to cancel the competition." Master Gay, it's useless even if you kneel down and kowtow. He was the one who proposed this duel. Even if I don't want my old life, I want to beat him. I, Kong Dowling, have never been humiliated like this in my entire life. If I don't teach him a lesson today, I, Kong Dowling, will write those words backwards. Kong Dowling said fiercely. He definitely wouldn't cancel the duel. Moreover, he would even use the best spirit grass he had and the highest level alchemy furnace to compete with Long Fei, and he would use all means available to crush him. He wanted Long Fei's life. Gui Qingshan said, "Elder Kong, is there really no leeway?" Kong Dowling said, "No, just tell him to prepare the coffin for himself." Xianyu sect. In the Mystic Moon Plaza, disciples entered through various entrances. Compete with Royal Alchemist in alchemy? Is he crazy? He really doesn't know his place. Who does he think he is? He's trying to make us, Xianyu sect, lose face. I don't know what he thinks. He's simply courting death. The number of disciples in the plaza increased. The entire sect was talking about the competition between Long Fei and Kong Dowling. In another place, Yurong knelt on the ground with a painful look on his face. There were several bloody marks on his arm. Obviously, he had been whipped by some kind of whip. Just a moment ago, she had heard the discussions of a few disciples nearby. Not only did you fail the mission, you even lost the Ming clan's sacred artifact. Yurong, do you know your fault? One of them was wearing a cloak, and his voice sounded like a devil. Yurong said, "This disciple knows his wrongs. This disciple will definitely try his best to find the divine object. Elder, can you give me a landflower?" Landflower, immortal stage, spirit grass. It was a spirit grass that was specially used by the Ming clan to refine earth spirit pills. This kind of spirit grass was extremely rare. This kind of spirit grass was extremely powerful. If Long Fei could get it, he could definitely beat Kong Dowling. The Ming clan elder's eyes turned sinister as he stared at Yurong. "Even now, you're still thinking about that brat. And I've already told you again and again, that brat doesn't have any blood vein S, and he doesn't have any talent or talent. He's not worthy of you, and he has no future for you. Moreover, have you forgotten your own vow? Have you forgotten your mission?" Yurong hurriedly said. This disciple did not forget. Ming clan cannot rise to prominence, and this disciple will not marry for life. Disciple owes him a favor. I just want to use the landflower to repay his kindness. From now on, I no longer have anything to do with him. The Ming clan elder was silent for a moment, then looked at Yurong and asked, "Are you speaking the truth?" Yurong nodded heavily and said, "This disciple will definitely not dare to deceive elders and masters." He looked at a dark cave. Half a minute later, a landflower was lifted out of the cave by a powerful force. And then, "Yurong," said the voice from the cave, "it's not that Master is blaming you. It's that we cannot tolerate the love between our children on the road to the rise of Ming clan. Especially you. Your fate has been decided since the moment you were born." Yurong held back her tears and replied, "This disciple understands." The voice from the cave resounded again and said, "Take the landflower and from now on do not have any relation with him. I will think of a way to cure the injuries on your body." Yurong received the landflower and said, "Thank you, Master." And then, Yurong turned around. Tears rolled down his face. It was like the rain. Landflower. Sister, is this immortal stage spirit grass, landflower? Xiao Dai exclaimed. Yurong's expression did not change at all, and she said indifferently, "With this landflower, you should be able to beat him, right?" Long Fei looked at Yurong, feeling that she was a little strange. Yurong said, "I'm about to close up. God's sect gathering probably won't be coming out again until now. You have to take care of yourself." Long Fei was startled for a moment and said, "Your injuries?" Yurong said, I have my own ways. All right, I'm leaving. You all must work hard to cultivate. I'm leaving. You all must work hard to cultivate. Eorong laughed lightly, looked at Long Fei, and said quietly in his heart, "Goodbye, Long Fei." Chapter 2383, You Lose. Chapter 2383, You Lose, He's Here. Zhao Etienne's eyes lit up and revealed an excited smile. Elder Kong, this match. Without waiting for Zhao Etienne to finish speaking, Kong Dowling immediately declared, "Your Highness, don't worry. I will definitely make him lose face and also make the Xianyu sect lose face. Not only must he avenge Zhao Etienne, he must also avenge the humiliation he had suffered." "All right," Zhao Etienne said excitedly. "However, Elder Kong, this brat is a little strange. He has only trained in the alchemy technique for over a month. Don't let your guard down. I heard that you have a top-grade immortal stage spirit grass. Use it to refine a spirit pellet today." Kong Dowling trembled slightly. Only he knew that he had the immortal stage S and spirit grass, but Kong Dowling immediately replied, "Your Highness, don't worry. If you can't beat him, I'll bring my head up to meet him." Zhao Etienne said, "I don't want your head. I want you to use a top-quality immortal stage spirit grass to defeat him. What I want is his life, do you understand?" His voice was filled with a threatening tone. Long Fei with a thorn in his flesh, and now that there was someone by his side, he definitely had to make Long Fei die. Kong Dowling clenched his teeth and said, "All right." Long Fei walked into the profound Moon Plaza, saw the scene before him, and also saw Zhao Etienne and Kong Dowling in the distance. He said slightly, "Seems like Uncle Gue did not succeed in persuading him." Xiao Dai said, "My father is serious. If we can't even settle such a small matter, then he is the sect master of the Xianyu sect." Long Fei said, "I can't blame Uncle Gue. This matter is clearly directed at me. Moreover, in the Zhao family's eyes, Xianyu sect is nothing." The thin monkey said, "So what if you have a mere royal alchemist with the land flower that young sect master gave you and boss's alchemy technique?" Speaking of land flower S, Long Fei's heart tightened again. He kept having the feeling that Eorong was hiding something from him. After the competition, I'll go find her and at the very least thank her. Long Fei thought. Long Fei and the others walked into the plaza. Everyone uniformly looked at Long Fei, their eyes filled with the laughter of schadenfreude. Let's see if he can continue being so lively today. Comparing alchemy with royal alchemist? You're courting death. I heard that as long as royal alchemist can win against Long Fei, he can take over Long Fei's position and become the great clan elder of the Pill Pavilion. Is that true? Of course it's true. My eldest cousin is in the Pill Pavilion, and that lord from the royal family said so himself. If I can consume the pills refined by the royal alchemist, then that would be too good. It would be enough for me to boast for the rest of my life. Long Fei, get out of Xianyu sect. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Next. Many people agreed. Long Fei, get out of Xianyu sect. Get out. You are not welcome here. Get out. Many disciples of the Mystic Moon Plaza angrily shouted. All of them stared at Long Fei aggressively, wishing that they could pounce on him. Long Fei turned a blind eye. He did not care about the surrounding voices. He was not living for others. However, Long Fei's patience had a limit. One of the disciples suddenly rushed out, pointed at Long Fei's nose and cursed. Long Fei, get the hell out of here. Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei slapped him across the face and shouted angrily, "You actually dare to call out the great elder's name. You're courting death." "Pah!" The disciple collapsed to the ground, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. Without waiting for him to get up, Long Fei kicked him hard. Bam! He was sent flying with a kick. Long Fei swept his eyes across them and said solemnly, "There's still that itchy one. Come out, I'll clean this up quickly." A savage look appeared in his eyes. The surrounding people were shocked by his aura. Gue Qinshan stood up immediately and said, "All of you, quiet down." Buzz! The aura on his body stirred. The scene was instantly wiped out. Gui Qingshan looked at Long Fei, his brows secretly furrowed, and his gaze shifted towards Kong Dowling as he said, "Elder Kong, you are the royal alchemist, and there is no other alchemy master who is your match within the whole of Zhaoguo's territory. How about he apologize, admit his wrongs, and forget about this matter?" Kong Dowling immediately said, "No. I said it before. I will repay the humiliation he gave me tenfold or even 100-fold. Long Fei also said, "What bullsh asterisk T royal alchemist? What the hell is this? Give him an apology? It doesn't exist." Kong Dowling sneered. "You dog, you are courting death." Long Fei said, "We don't even know who is courting death. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and start. I still have things to do." Long Fei didn't want to waste time. He wanted to find her before Yurong had gone in a closed-door cultivation. Kong Dowling said, "I'll explain the rules of the limitless alchemy to you first. Don't not admit your loss when the time comes. Firstly, spirit grasses that are not restricted in their usage. Second, there is no restriction on the use of pill furnaces. Third, Long Fei was too lazy to explain. His right hand moved. Buzz. The true chi churned and then automatically burned. Disciple of Powder Pavilion was startled. It's this kind of alchemy technique again. There's no need for a pill furnace. At this moment, boom, the flames on Long Fei's right palm became even hotter. With him at the center, no one within 3 meters could approach him because it was simply too hot. Buzz. When the landflower appeared, Long Fei controlled his mind and released the alchemy technique. And at the same time, he also released the super strong alchemy technique. When the heavens and the earth were the furnace, it was naturally the fire. Intent. Spiritual movement. Boom, boom, boom. Powerful energy unceasingly surged and compressed on his right hand. It was frantically being absorbed and released once again. It looked dazzling. Compared to half a month ago, Long Fei's alchemy technique was even more profound. Currently, the elders of the Pill Pavilion could not understand it all. It was too valiant. The one in his hands is the Landflower. The Landflower in teleportation. That's the immortal stage spirit grass. Can he control the release of the Landflower's spirit liquid? Impossible, right? The immortal stage's spirit grass can only be controlled by an Earth rank alchemy master. Can he control it? Indeed, the higher the level of spirit grass, the stronger the alchemy realm was required. When Long Fei took out the Landflower, many people were stunned, especially the elders and disciples of the Pill Pavilion. Kong Dowling also narrowed his eyes and laughed coldly. You can call alchemy just like that? Refining dog poop is more like it. Rumble. An explosion sounded in the air. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister, and his entire body started to tremble uncontrollably. The power on his palm started to surge crazily, and the true chi flame started to devour him, entering his Landflower-s. The spirit liquid began to be released. This speed was extremely fast. In just 3 seconds, Long Fei suddenly shouted, "Done!" On his palm, the spirit liquid was like glue as it slowly condensed together. It was also at this time, Long Fei shouted loudly, "Transformers!" Roar! Once the Transformers was summoned, Long Fei said, "Watch him closely. If he dares to not accept the debt, directly eliminate him." Finished. Long Fei then walked away. Chapter 2384, Royal Alchemist S Explosion. Chapter 2384, Royal Alchemist S Explosion, a wild one. The fierce one against the fierce one. Without even looking at what the other party had forged, he had left. Moreover, the entire audience was stunned. The Landflower, the immortal stage S were completed in an instant. From Long Fei's start to the end, there was not even a minute left. What kind of alchemy technique was this? Kong Dowling was completely dumbfounded by Long Fei. His jaw dropped. This. Success. Kong Dowling looked at the pill on Long Fei's table. He was in disbelief. At this moment, Zhao Etian let out a heavy shout. and said, "Stop him." Several guards ran over anxiously and blocked Long Fei's path and shouted, "The competition is not over. You cannot leave." The shocked crowd came back to their senses. How can you leave before the competition is over? I think he feels that he's definitely going to lose, so he might as well escape, right? Definitely. Can alchemy be like his? This medicinal pill is definitely a waste pill. Kid, don't be in such a hurry to leave. A large group of disciples surrounded him. Zhao Etian bellowed. Long Fei, Master Kong has not cultivated yet. What right do you have to say that you have one? Furthermore, what is the grade of the pill you refined? You think that Master Kong will lose to you? Long Fei turned around slightly and looked coldly at the distant Zhao Etian. Just ask him if he's capable of refining a heaven stage pellet. Finished. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he looked at the disciples blocking his way. With a heavy voice, he said, "You better get out of the way, or else I'll make it so that you won't be able to get up from the ground." Scram! Wong! Asterisk, his aura shook, and all the guards looked at each other in dismay before they slowly retreated. Kong Dowling's gaze tensed up. Not just him. The disciples and elders of the Pill Pavilion, and even Gui Qingshan's expression changed inwardly. Heaven rank spirit pellet? Kong Dowling sneered. Do you think heaven stage is all you can get? Then the pill that I am refining is a god-tier pill. Zhao Etian said, "Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and refine it. Remember, you must refine a heaven rank pill." Huh? Kong Dowling was surprised for a moment and said, "Your Highness, I'm only an earth rank alchemy master. How can I refine heaven rank pellets?" Zhao Etian shouted, "I don't care about that. You're going to come out even if you die." Because the feeling Long Fei gave him was that pill could really be a heaven rank pill. Kong Dowling's mind tightened as he gently exhaled, clearing his mind of all distracting thoughts. He immediately said, "Kid, I'll let you clearly see what's called alchemy." Buzz! A huge cauldron appeared. There were powerful fire runes on top of the pill furnace, and without using the true chi, the pill furnace had started burning, and it gave off a strong aura of fire. The two most important factors of alchemy, spirit grass and flame. The grade of this pill furnace was at least heaven stage. Everyone was slightly surprised. Kong Dowling was more earnest than ever before. When he took out 2 immortal stage spirit grasses, he was also giving it his all. He was very clear about the position Zhao Etian had in the Empress's heart. If he failed, forget about Zhao Etian. Even the Empress would not let him off. Boom! His robe fluttered, and an explosive sound reverberated throughout his body. At this moment, Long Fei didn't even look at them as he walked out of the profound Moon Plaza in large strides. Zhao Etian also did not continue stopping them because Xinyu sect was also one of his people, so Long Fei couldn't escape no matter what. Now, all he had to do was refine a heaven stage pill. Once a heaven stage pellet was refined, it could be said that it was higher quality than the pellets Long Fei refined. Then, it could openly take Long Fei's life. Zhao Etian stared deadly at Kong Dowling. He had to say it. Zhao Guo's first alchemy master was indeed well-deserved of his reputation. His alchemy technique and the control over his spirit liquid had almost perfect control over his flames. Kong Dowling was completely focused. The beads of sweat on his forehead rolled down. It was unknown whether it was because he was too nervous or because the immortal stage spirit grass was hard to control, but his body couldn't help but slightly tremble. Boom! Boom! The enormous pill furnace continued to emit buzzing sounds. Black flames continued to appear. After 5 minutes, Kong Dowling's entire body was drenched, and his true chi was in a state of exhaustion. The pair of empty eyes stared at him and shouted, "Done!" Rumble, rumble, rumble. A series of explosions could be heard. Next, a ball of black smoke emerged from the pill furnace, and the flame inside it turned crimson. Boom! The entire pill furnace exploded into the sky. Bam! It broke into pieces and fell down one by one. The furnace exploded. Walala! Kong Dowling also fell on his butt, his face pale white. Looking at the exploded pill furnace, it was as if his heart was dripping blood. At the same time, his gaze slowly turned to Zhao Yiqian, and looking at Zhao Yiqian, who was trying to devour him, he kneeled down suddenly and said, "Please spare me, Your Highness. I am only an Earth-rank alchemy master. I am completely unable to refine heaven-rank pellets. Your Highness, have mercy! Your Highness, have mercy!" Gui Qingshan stood up and said, "Master Kong, the furnace exploded." Even those who didn't understand alchemy knew the meaning of explosion. This meant that his alchemy had failed. Kong Dowling's eyes turned sinister, and he immediately shouted, "So what if the furnace explodes? What can your little Xianyu sect do to me? Don't forget, I am a royal alchemist. Let alone you, my Xianyu sect, even the #1 sect of Zhao Guo wouldn't dare to touch a single hair on my head." Gui Qingshan laughed. "I am only reminding you, your furnace exploded, so you lost." Kong Dowling's eyes turned sinister and became angry from embarrassment. "What did you lose? How could that kid defeat me? Even if I explode, what about him? What kind of pill can he forge? Heaven Stage? Bullshit! He can refine Heaven Stage pellets with just a spear grass? Who would believe it?" Kong Dowling said fiercely. Gui Qingshan laughed. "Right now, even if the pellet that he has refined is a grade 1 pellet, it would still be of a higher grade than the pellet that you have refined. So you still lost." He did not care what kind of heaven-ranked spirit pill Long Fei refined, or if it was a grade 1 spirit pill. If Kong Dowling blew up the furnace, then he would lose, and the thing that he could not refute was the truth. Kong Dowling was speechless. Looking at the pill on the great Long Fei's table, he leaped. Boom! It directly landed in front of Long Fei's pill platform, grabbed hold of the idea which Long Fei had refined, and said with disdain, "I want to see what kind of bullsh *T is your so-called heaven-rank pellet." Before he could finish his words, his expression froze. His entire body seemed to have been struck by lightning as he stood on the spot, motionless and lifeless. This is impossible. He cannot concoct a heaven-step spirit pill. Absolutely impossible. As soon as he finished, the entire audience was in an uproar. It was also at this time, a heavy breathing sounded out from behind Kong Dowling. The Transformers was staring straight at him. Chapter 2385. If you don't leave, you will die. Chapter 2385. If you don't leave, you will die. Ah! In the sky above Mystic Moon Plaza, a pig-like howl sounded out. Kong Dowling was like a wheel that was being rolled over by the Transformers, rolling down from the Mystic Moon Hall all the way to the bottom of the mountain. During the process of refining the land flower, Long Fei felt that it possessed a powerful strength. Its healing power, Long Fei thought, because he thought about the wound on Yi Yorong's abdomen. Using the land flower as a guide, and finding a few stalks of immortal stage S to heal, he might even be able to cure the limitless burning sword's poison wound. This was also the reason Long Fei then left immediately to find Yi Yorong, wanting to tell her about this matter. Hearing the screams coming from the sky above the profound Moon Plaza, Long Fei did not react on purpose. He was not interested in killing Kong Dowling. He only wanted to see Yi Yorong. Xianyu sect, Rear Mountain. This place was hailed as the forbidden grounds of the Xianyu sect. It was a place where some of the senior clan elders of Xianyu sect, or sect masters, closed their doors for cultivation. Long Fei did not bother about any forbidden grounds as he directly walked in. Just right. Seeing Yi Yorong walk into a cave, Long Fei immediately shouted, "You roam." As soon as he finished, a deep voice exploded from the forbidden ground. Before Long Fei could react, the thick pressure seemed to surge out from hell itself. It instantly crushed him. Who dares to trespass? His strength was extremely powerful. His aura was strong and powerful. However, Long Fei was incomparably familiar with it. Power of Nether Ming clan. Yi Yorong also stopped. He immediately turned around and looked at Long Fei, seeing that Big Long Fei was being suppressed by a powerful force. He immediately said, "Senior Master, stop." Buzz! A black shadow descended. He stood in front of Long Fei. The black shadow's eyes flashed with a cold glint. He stared coldly at Long Fei and said, "You roans at him?" Cluck, cluck, cluck. Long Fei clenched his teeth and said, "I hate pressure. It's amazing that you have such a high realm." Boom! He immediately took out the sky sword and waved it down. Buzz! Rumble! Without waiting for Long Fei's sky sword to descend, yet another wave of pressure came crushing down. His mind could not take it any longer, and his internal injuries tumbled as he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. What Long Fei found strange was, the sky sword was actually useless. In the past, no matter how strong the pressure was, even if it was Ming Yu's pressure, the sky sword would still be able to eliminate it. He couldn't withstand that sword attack at all. The sky sword seemed to have lost all its power. Long Fei's heart sank. What's going on? Never. Could it be? Was the sky sword injured? Impossible. He was the #1 divine sword of the universal realm. Who could harm him? Besides, he is a sword. How could he possibly be injured? Long Fei muttered to himself, unable to understand. At that time, he was unconscious. He had no idea that the sky sword had entered from behind the stone door. What did he encounter? Not to mention Long Fei, even the sky sword themselves did not know about it. However, it was also because of that strike that the sky sword was heavily injured. Without enough time for Long Fei to think, the black-robed old man took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Long Fei. His pitch-black palm moved and directly struck Long Fei's chest. Buzz! Bam! The strong power of the netherworld Adumbra flower exploded, causing Long Fei to retreat. The old man quickly pushed forward and directly pushed Long Fei onto a rock, as he said with cold contempt, "What can a trash like you do?" Poochie! His chest split open, and his internal organs tumbled as he spat out another mouthful of blood. The spring of life rapidly recovered Long Fei's health point. However, the pressure from the old man was crushing him, and it was extremely uncomfortable. Talent, no talent. If you want blood vein, there are no blood vein. What qualifications do you have to be with your own? If you stay with her, you will only delay her. You are not worthy of her. The old man's disdainful voice reached deep into Long Fei's heart. Long Fei felt very uncomfortable. His entire body was trying to block it with all its might. He couldn't take it. The pressure was too strong, and even Long Fei's body was trembling. Boom! An explosion sounded from within Long Fei's body, and he let out a heavy roar. Ah! He roared in his heart. Arrogant God energy value, explode for me. Boom! 100 arrogant God energy value S exploded in Long Fei's body. At this moment, the energy in Long Fei's body also started to surge crazily. The old man in black was slightly surprised. After being crushed by his oppressive aura, he was still able to unleash such a powerful force? In the instant that he was shocked, boom! Long Fei suddenly rushed forward, his fists sinking. He threw them out. Bam! It landed directly on the chest of the black-robed elder, who was even more shocked as he barked, "Little bastard, you dare to attack me? You're courting death." Before he could even finish the word die, Long Fei's fist shot out like a violent storm. Bang, bang, bang. It was as fast as lightning. The black-robed elder was forced to continuously retreat, his hands protecting his chest, staring straight at Long Fei. The powerful pressure also continued to crush at Long Fei. However, it was completely useless. Long Fei instantly turned into a madman. He didn't have enough pressure. The black-robed old man also tried to attack Long Fei, trying to repel him. This won't do either, because he did not even bother to dodge Long Fei's attack. It was tough. Moreover, no matter how hard he tried to hit Long Fei, it seemed as if Long Fei would not be injured at all. And what kind of talent are you? And what kind of blood vein are you? Who do you think you are? Long Fei scolded back heavily. He directly smashed the old man onto the rock wall and pressed him down with his elbow. His eyes were burning with rage as he said, You dare to crush your father? You think you're worthy? Yi Zichen retracted his gaze. And then, Long Fei's fist once again struck out like a violent storm. Without even giving the black-robed old man a chance to catch his breath, he knew very well that if the black-robed old man had another chance to do so, he would be the one to lose. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang. The originally powerful old man could only passively defend. Moreover, his face was pale and his internal organs were all shifting in place. All of them were in great pain. The stench of blood assaulted his throat, and he was unable to hold it in any longer. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Long Fei bellowed. You say I am not worthy? You don't even have the right to say that I'm your father. Boom! Another punch. Blood spurted out of the old man's mouth as his body slid down the wall, looking extremely miserable. Long Fei stared at him and said coldly, Keep King acting arrogantly for your father. Before he could finish, within the cave, a deep voice rang out. Enough! Wang Long! The entire forbidden ground was trembling. Yurong also instantly knelt on the ground, looked at Long Fei and said, Hurry and go. Long Fei recovered his expression and said with a smile, I found a way to cure the poison. Yurong shook his head and said, Long Fei, I'm begging you. Long Fei was startled. Yurong immediately started crying. If you don't leave, you will die. Chapter 2386. Chapter 2386. If you don't leave now, you will die. Yurong cried her heart out and said loudly, because she knew her master's personality very well. Anyone who obstructed the rise of the Ming clan would not be forgiven. Killing, no matter who it was, no matter what relationship Yurong had, as long as they obstructed her plans, she would make this person disappear from the world. When Long Fei saw Yurong crying her heart out, and her tears, Long Fei felt as if his heart had been pierced by hundreds of needles. It was very painful, very painful. The pain of being unable to breathe. Long Fei said gently, There is no one in this world who can force you to do something you don't want to do. As long as you nod your head, I will bring you away immediately. Humph! Just as Long Fei finished speaking, a snort came out from the cave. What a good, I'll take you away immediately. In that instant, buzz! There was a muffled sound in the cave, and, in the next second, holding the Buddhist dust in one hand and wearing a black robe on his body, a massive netherworld aura gushed forth like a raging river. A step landed in front of Long Fei. It was also at this moment. Bam! The netherworld spiritual aura pounced like a wild beast. Long Fei's body instantly shot outwards, and the netherworld aura was like a nail, pinning Long Fei's body onto the stone wall as his entire body floated in the air. Is this the strength you brought her away with you? The old lady stared at Long Fei. Too strong. Long Fei had never encountered such a powerful force. The time at the arrogant god energy value continued, but, however, he didn't have any time to react and was immediately bound. His heart was shocked. Long Fei stared at the old lady and said, You are Rong's master? Yurong also started to panic as he anxiously kneeled forward and said, Master, I will listen to you, and from today onwards, I will never meet him again. I beg you, please let him go. I swear to God. Yurong's voice trembled slightly, because she knew that Master would really kill Long Fei. The old woman said coldly, The best way to never meet again is to disappear from this world. Buzz! His aura turned sinister as the power of Nether surged. It condensed into a pitch-black spear. The spear shone with a cold light. It floated in front of the old lady. As long as she used a little more strength, the spear would be able to pierce through Long Fei's head. When Yurong saw the black pike, he became even more flustered and said, Master, I beg you, let him go. I will definitely do more than that. I swear to God, I will never meet him again, I beg you. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. Sky Sword, what happened to you today? How come he doesn't have any power at all? Long Fei was unhappy. Very unhappy. Even if it was her master, Long Fei would still not be happy for his woman kneeling to others. Long Fei shouted, "Old Granny, if you have the guts, then kill me now. You're courting death." A cold light flashed in the old woman's eyes. Buzz. The binding power on Long Fei suddenly tightened. Long Fei could not help but let out a miserable scream. His entire body felt as though it was being sucked in by a strong pressure. His bones, tendons, veins, and even the blood in his veins were all twitching and squeezing. Cluck, 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 cluck. All the bones in his body were contracting, cracking, and cracking. Long Fei's body was also shrinking rapidly. The old lady looked at Long Fei's painful expression and laughed. "With your cultivation, you want to kill me? Laughable, truly laughable. You're wrong. Is this the man you like? No talent if you want one. If I wanted a blood vein, there are no blood vein. He is much weaker than the crown prince of the Zhao family. If I were you, even if I chose a crown prince, I would not choose him." The old woman said coldly, "Talent? Blood vein? Determining one's martial arts training's fate. Decide whether or not a person can reach the top." In the eyes of the old granny, Long Fei had no future at all in the martial arts training. Even if he was lucky enough to break through quickly, it was useless. Even if you have some power in the Zhenwu continent, but if her Ming clan wanted to rise up and fight against the God's tribe, how could her mortal body fight against it? No matter how she looked at it, the old lady did not like Long Fei. Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, the old granny then continued, "You wrong. Zhao Haoyan's life is in ruins, but the Zhao family did not break off the engagement. I hope that you can enter the Zhao family to cultivate the Emperor's Qi. This way you will be able to cultivate faster and the power of the Dark Phoenix will be better displayed." Yurong shook his head and said, "Master, I am not going to the Zhao family. I will not go. The Zhao family are the dogs of the God's tribe. The Ming clan and us are irreconcilable. Even if I die, I will not go to the Zhao family." Actually, the old woman spoke very clearly. His meaning was to let Yurong continue marrying Zhao Haoyan, whose life force had been crippled. What kind of master is this? When Long Fei heard this, his anger surged. He roared angrily and said, "Old Granny, why didn't you King marry that old eunuch Zhao Chongshan? You want your disciple to marry a eunuch. Do you think you're worthy of being her master? Is there a master like you in the world?" Before his life, he crazily recovered Long Fei's health point. Long Fei could barely endure it. "How dare you?" the old woman shouted. "It seems like your lesson is not enough." Buzz! The black spear moved. Shwa! It directly pierced towards the center of Long Fei's brows. Eorong's eyes narrowed, and immediately said, "I'll marry." The spear was just half a centimeter away from Long Fei's forehead, and a sinister cold qi seemed to have entered Long Fei's mind as the temperature of Long Fei's entire body continued to drop. The old lady put away the idea and the black spear instantly disappeared as she revealed a satisfied smile and said, "You wrong. Zhao Haoyan has already been crippled and can't do anything to you. Furthermore, you entered the Zhao family to cultivate the Emperor's Qi, which can allow you to break through even faster. As for the wounds on your body, don't worry. Even if I can't treat them, I will help you cover them up. As long as it's not Zhao Chongshan, Zhao Wuji will not be able to discover them." Long Fei looked at Yurong and said, "Yurong, no." Yurong did not look at Long Fei and said, "Thank you, Master." "Master, can you let him go now?" The old lady looked at Long Fei coldly, and the idea moved. The binding power of the netherworld, a Dumbra flower, vanished as Long Fei fell from midair. In that instant, Long Fei held onto the sky sword and rushed towards the old lady, roaring in his heart, "Sky sword, I need strength, I need strength." Without waiting for Long Fei to get close, the old granny rolled up her sleeves and directly swept Long Fei away. Bam! Smashing into the rock wall, Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Fei rushed out once again, fairy from heaven. Chua! The sword moved and leaped into the air. But they could not allow Long Fei to fall. Boom! Another powerful power of Nether knocked long fey flying. Forbidden, profound mysteries. Chua, Long Fei's figure disappeared and was directly locked onto the old lady. However, without waiting for Long Fei's attack to come out, the moment they got close, they were sent flying by the strong power of Nether on the old lady's body, and once again collided against the wall. Puffed. Another mouthful of blood sprayed out. Humph. Trash will always be trash. That's all you can do in this life, understand? The old woman disdainfully sneered. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.